Welcome to HOJO Radio. Our next popular broadcast aired from January 7th, 1941 to October 5th, 1952. It was created by producer Hyman Brown and based on the imprint given to the mystery novels of Simon & Schuster. In all, 526 episodes were broadcast. We proudly present to you Inner Sanctum.
Colgate Tooth Powder presents Inner Sanctum Mysteries. Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum. This is your host, Raymond, inviting you in through the squeaking door. Well, it's so nice if you'd come here tonight and help me sit up with the corpse. Hey, such dull company, so cold and stiff, bored with being dead. All the life seems to have gone out of him. What? You say you've seen him before? Oh, no, he's not that horror man who plays in pictures. But he does look like him. So much so, in fact, you might even call him a dead ringer. Tonight's Inner Sanctum Mystery, Voice on the Wire, is an original radio drama by Robert Sloan and stars Miss Leslie Woods in the role of Geraldine Reeves. It's produced under the direction of Hyman Brown.
Use Colgate tooth powder. Keep smiling just right. Use it each morning and use it at night. Don't take a chance with your romance. Use Colgate tooth powder.
Romance. What is romance? Romance is the light on the path of love, but a light so delicate that even a breath may put it out. Even a breath. You'd hate that to happen to you, wouldn't you? Well, don't let a breath of trouble ruin your romance. Don't let unpleasing breath offend the one you love. I tell you what, brush your teeth night and morning and before every date with Colgate tooth powder. Because scientific tests have definitely proved that in 7 cases out of 10, Colgate tooth powder instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth. And let me add, Colgate tooth powder is the only tooth powder that offers proof of this fact. And then, too, Colgate tooth powder cleans your teeth beautifully. No amount of money can buy you a dentifrice that will clean your teeth more quickly and thoroughly. Remember the name, Colgate tooth powder, with the accent on powder.
Don't take a chance with your romance. Use Colgate tooth powder.
No doubt the telephone is an ingenious invention, but as far as I know, no one as yet has been able to commit murder over it, although many people have wanted to. Still, there are worse things you can get on the phone than the wrong number, especially if you happen to call the voice on the wire. On a long, narrow island just off the shore of one of our larger lakes, Mrs. Geraldine Reeves, widow of the late composer David Reeves, lives alone in a gaunt, gray shingled house. Only a few hundred yards away are the charred remains of her former home, where David was burned to death in a fire just 2 years ago. It's after dinner now, and as the clock in the hall strikes 8.
You've got to get hold of yourself, Geraldine.
I can't help it, Doctor. You see, it starts every night about this time.
What starts?
The music. David's last composition. I hear it being played on a piano. And the notes seem to come from the old house, the house where David died in the fire.
Well, perhaps someone is playing that piece on the piano. Someone on the island.
No, there's only one other house out here, and those people are away. And the dog. The dog keeps howling all night long.
What dog?
I don't know. There's no dog on the island, but David and I did have a dog. You remember? He stayed with David the night of the fire. He died with him because David was too ill to get out of bed. There it is again.
It's amazing. That's a real dog. Somewhere on this island.
Oh. Do you think so?
Why, of course. Probably some stray got across the bridge or swam over from the shore.
Well, you see, Oh, excuse me, Doctor.
Certainly.
Hello?
Hello? Mrs. Geraldine Reeves.
Yes, speaking. Who is this?
Listen.
Good heavens.
You have 4 hours to live, Mrs. Reeves. 4 hours to live.
What? What did you say? Hello? Hello?
Mother Geraldine.
The music. The same music. I heard it again.
What?
Over the phone. Someone's playing it on the piano.
It must be some sort of a prank.
No. A man spoke to me. He said I have 4 hours to live.
4 hours to... Here. Let me have that phone.
No, it's no use. He's rung off.
Well, we might be able to trace the call. Hello. Operator. Operator.
Somebody's trying to kill me.
Hello, operator. Operator.
What's wrong, Doctor?
I'm afraid the wires have been cut. We'd better get into my car and drive into town right away.
Yes, it isn't safe for me to stay here another minute.
Can't understand it. The motor won't turn over. Somebody must have meddled with this car while we were in the house.
Well, try my car, Doctor.
I think perhaps I'd better. Is it in the garage?
Yes, Great heavens, it's gone. The garage is empty. The car's been stolen.
Now, let's not lose our heads, Geraldine.
But...
We're not completely cut off yet. We can't use a car. We can still walk.
But it's almost a mile to the bridge, and the road is so dark down along the water.
It won't be too dark with a flashlight. We can go down through the woods to the edge of the water and walk along the shore.
Oh, wait a minute.
What's the matter?
I just remembered. David's brother's driving out here tonight.
Harvey?
Yes, and his wife, Laura. They said they'd be here by 8:30, and if we wait for them, they can take us back in their car. What do you think, Doctor?
That's safer than trying to make it alone. If we wait right here, perhaps we can watch the bridge and see them coming. Heaven's sake, Geraldine. What are you staring at?
The bridge, Doctor. The bridge, look. This end of it's been washed out. Oh, Doctor, this is crazy, searching for a telephone wire in back of the house. If we're seen out here, there's no telling what might happen.
Please, Geraldine. We've got to find out where that wire was cut and splice it together again. It's our only chance of reaching the police.
But it's almost 9 o'clock. We've wasted an hour already. If I'm not out of here by 12...
Stop it, Geraldine. Stop it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. What's that?
It's the dog again. That confounded dog is tied up around here somewhere.
No, I didn't mean that. I meant the light on the road. There's a strange light on the road.
The headlight of a car. Coming this way.
A car?
Yes. Quick. Behind the house and stay out of sight. It's turning into the driveway.
How could a car have come out onto the island with that bridge out?
They're getting out.
Oh, why, it's Harvey and Laura.
Good heavens.
Oh, Harvey.
Hello.
Harvey. Oh, Harvey.
Pete's sake.
Oh.
Jerry, what are you doing? Playing hide and seek with us back there?
Oh, Harvey, I'm so glad you've come.
Jerry, what's the matter?
Oh, everything. But first you've got to tell us how you got here.
Why, we just drove over the bridge and on up the road the way we always do.
But how could you drive over the bridge? It's been washed out.
What?
Well, I saw it with my own eyes, and Dr. Pricing saw it too, didn't you, Doctor?
I certainly did.
Oh, you must be mistaken. We drove over the bridge not more than 2 minutes ago.
Are you sure you haven't been on the island longer than that?
I'm positive. Why?
Well, some very strange things have been happening here tonight. Geraldine's life was threatened. Her car stolen, and mine tampered with.
What?
What are you talking about?
Look, I'll show you. The starter on my car won't even turn the motor over. Here. By George. It's working now.
Say, what is this, Jerry? You and the doctor been taking a few pills? Did you drink too much wine at dinner?
Oh, no. Everything he said is true. Even the telephone wires have been... I must be going out of my mind. That is my telephone ringing, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
Aren't you going to answer it?
I'm almost afraid to. Come with me, Harvey, will you, while I do?
Sure.
Hello?
Hello. Mrs. Reeves.
Yes?
Listen. It's 9 o'clock, Mrs. Reeves. You have 3 hours to live.
Waiting, this endless waiting. Why don't the police come?
Easy now, Jerry. They'll be here. You only phoned them a few minutes ago.
Something can happen before they get here.
I have a gun ready, just in case anything should happen. And I won't hesitate to use it.
You have a gun, Doctor?
Why, yes. Geraldine gave it to me before you arrived.
Oh.
What's the matter? You trust me with a gun, don't you?
Why, of course.
Laura, what is it?
A face at the window. I just saw a face at the window.
Laura, please, you're letting your imagination run away with you.
No, I saw it right there. It was the face of a dead man.
Quick, Harvey. Out the back way. Right.
No, please don't leave us.
We'll be right outside the window.
Jerry, I'm afraid. Well, there's nothing we can do, Laura. They won't be far away. But I don't trust Dr. Prizing. You never should have given him that gun. Why not? Because I think he's a murderer. Oh! Yes. Don't you remember how he acted at the trial? When you were accused of starting the fire that killed David? He testified against you time and again. Subtly. To make them think you did it. Because he started that fire himself. What on earth are you saying? I'm telling you the truth. During the trial, he swore that he wasn't on the island the night of the fire. But he was. And I can prove it. How? By this cigarette case of his. Here, look at it. You see how it's charred and melted on the side where his initials were? He must have left it in the fire that night, by mistake. But he couldn't have. The police searched everything the next morning. They would have found it in the ashes. Not if it wasn't there. He came back for it that same night, as soon as he missed it, and dragged it out of the fire. He knew it would incriminate him if it were found in his possession, so he threw it into the lake as he drove home over the bridge. And that's where we found it, in the water. The last time we were out here. Oh, Laura, I hope you're wrong. So do I. But if I'm right, we're all in for... Laura! The lights! Somebody's cut off the lights! Laura! Laura, where are you? Carry the door! Carry through the door! It's the face I saw! Laura! Laura! It was meant to be me, Harvey. Whoever came through that door intended to kill me.
Jerry, please. How is Laura, Doctor? I'm afraid I can't do anything for her, Harvey. She's passed on. Oh. Laura, darling. You'd better not touch the body, Harvey.
Oh, leave me alone. You've done enough already, Dr. Prizing.
I beg your pardon?
You'll have a lot of explaining to do when the police arrive, Doctor. I'll tell them how you ran away from me out there before the lights went out. And how you were here in this room when they went on again.
Harvey, don't say things you'll regret later on.
Just a moment. Where is the cigarette case Laura had in her hand when the lights went out?
What cigarette case?
You know the one I mean, Dr. Prizing. The gold one that was charred in the fire.
I haven't the faintest idea what you're talking about.
I have. And if you're as innocent as you claim to be, you won't mind being searched.
Not at all. Go right ahead.
I will.
Whom are you calling, Geraldine?
The police. I don't understand why they haven't arrived yet. It's almost 10 o'clock.
Maybe something's happened to them on the way. Maybe their car broke down.
Their car, too?
Huh?
Nothing. Only it seems as if your car is the only one that works when you want it to.
Headquarters.
Oh, Sergeant. Sergeant, I can't understand why your men aren't here yet. A murder's been committed.
Do you think you've been calling the police department all this time, Mrs. Reeves?
David's music.
It's 10 o'clock, Mrs. Reeves. You have 2 more hours.
Jerry. Are you in your room?
Yes, Harvey. What is it?
This is our chance, Jerry. We've got to run away from Dr. Pricing now, while we're alone.
Yes, of course, Harvey, but how will we go?
In my car. It's just... wait a minute. Listen.
What is it?
It sounds like footsteps in the living room. Pricing must be in there.
No, I saw him go outside. He said he wanted to see if he could find the dog.
Oh, there's someone in there. I'm going to find out who it is.
Be careful, Harvey. He may be standing just outside the door.
Yeah. All right. You stay behind me.
Is anybody there? Is anybody in the living room?
No. There doesn't seem to
Don't
be.
overlook me, Harvey.
Well, Dr. Pricing. You've been standing at this door with your ear to the keyhole?
No, not exactly.
I thought you were supposed to be outside, looking for that dog.
I was outside for a while. But I saw someone moving around in here, so I came back. When I got here, your wife's body was gone.
What?
Gone? Laura's body is gone?
I assume that it's gone. It's not where it was on the floor.
But how could... Look here, Pricey. You were alone in this room.
And so were you. After I left. Wasn't it, Geraldine?
Well, yes, now that I think back, he was.
Certainly. What's more, Geraldine saw me leave the house. And when I left, the body was still here. After that, I don't know what happened.
What are you driving at?
Draw your own conclusions. I've drawn mine.
Why, you...
Harvey, stop it! Stop it!
I'm sorry, Jerry. I just...
The dog again.
I can't understand why you didn't find that dog, Dr. Pricing. He must be right out there where the old house used to be.
But if you think you can find him, why don't you go? Good heavens, man.
What?
Look. There's a fire burning out there.
On the grounds of the old house.
Pricing, you started that fire yourself, and you're burning Laura's body in it to cover up your crime.
Harvey, where are you going?
I've got to the fire, Jerry. I've got to stop it. I've got to put it out.
I'm going to lose my mind if someone doesn't stop these awful things from happening. Won't anybody help us?
Easy, Geraldine. The man who hopes to kill you was trying to break you down first. It's part of his plan. Here. Take a sip of this brandy. It'll help you.
All right, thank you, Doctor.
What's the matter?
Oh, nothing, really. I just don't care for any brandy just now.
What's wrong with it?
Well, I didn't say anything was wrong with it. I just don't...
You fool. Do you think I'm trying to poison you?
I don't know what to think.
Here. Give me that brandy. I'll drink it myself. There. Believe me now?
I don't believe anyone.
Listen to me, Geraldine. I'm the best friend you have in the world right now. You've got to understand that. Because there isn't much more time. We've got to get away from Harvey while he's still out there.
What do you mean?
Can't you see? He's trying to kill you.
That's a lie.
It isn't, Geraldine. Harvey's the one that's lied to us. He and Laura both. They intended to kill you when the lights went out. But in the darkness, Harvey made a fatal mistake. He thought it was you he was strangling, not Laura.
I won't believe that.
It's the truth. They never drove across that bridge at 9 o'clock tonight. They've been here on the island all evening.
How do you know?
Because we saw that bridge with our own eyes. And I saw it again just 5 minutes ago. It's still down.
You're lying.
Come out and see it for yourself.
You're just trying to get me out of this house.
Stop being such a fool. Here. Take this gun. If it'll give you any security, take it. And hold it in my back while we're out there. But for heaven's sakes, let's get away from Harvey while there's still a chance.
All right. Give me the gun.
Here.
Now you keep in front of me all the time. And I'm warning you. If you make one false move, I'll kill you in cold blood.
You see, Harvey and Laura were lying to us. The bridge is still down.
You're right. They couldn't have come across that bridge.
Of course not. The only trouble is, we can't get back over it now either.
We've got to get away, Doctor, now, before we're seen.
What about that house at the other end of the island?
People are away.
But they might have a boat.
Yes, of course they do have a boat. We can row to the mainland. Come on, quick.
All right.
I have a feeling we're being followed.
It's your imagination. Hurry, Geraldine. Hurry.
We are being followed, Doctor. But behind us there's a man with a dog.
Good heavens. It's just like the dog you owned. The one that died in the fire.
Yes. And the man... It's Dave.
We've lost them. Lost them in the woods.
They can't be far
Doesn't
behind.
matter now. The house is just ahead.
But the boat, Doctor. The boat's not at the landing.
It must be.
Well, it isn't. Can't you see it isn't?
Perhaps it's around and back.
No, that side of the house faces the road.
We'll have to break in and hide here until morning. Our best chance is to be inside, where we can protect ourselves. After all, you still have a gun.
But I hardly know how to use it.
And give it to me.
No.
You still don't trust me, do you?
I don't know, Doctor. But I'm the one who's been threatened, so I really should have the gun.
Very well. Wait here. I'll break through the window and come around on the inside.
Did you hurt yourself?
No. I'm all right. Just wait there for me and I'll unlock the door.
Oh, hurry, Doctor, please. Hurry. They're on our trail again.
Come inside, Geraldine. Quickly. And lock the door behind you.
What's wrong, Doctor?
Nothing's wrong. We're in luck. There's a phone here. If it hasn't been disconnected. Hello. Hello, operator.
This isn't the operator. Tell Mrs. Reeves it's 11 o'clock. She has 1 more hour to live.
11.
I won't leave this house. I'm not going to run away any longer. If they're going to kill me, let them come here and do it. Only for heaven's sakes, why don't they do it right away? Why don't they come here and get it over with instead of waiting until 12 o'clock?
Geraldine, please.
Well, I can't stand it any longer. I'd rather die than go through any more of this torture. I just...
Sit down for a moment. Relax. And try to ease your mind.
Oh, for... Dr. Prizing, what are you doing?
Playing the piano. I thought it might relax you.
What's that melody? You! You're the one I hear at night, playing David's music. Playing it right here in this house.
Yes, Geraldine. I rented this house to protect you from David and the dog.
Well, stop it! Stop playing that piece! Stop it! Now stay where you are.
Don't be afraid. I won't harm you. As long as you have that gun. But the gun won't stop David.
David's dead.
Is he? Listen. He's right outside the door. And in a moment, he'll be here to take you with him.
No!
Yes, Geraldine. I've come back to see you. In spite of everything you've done.
Stop!
You killed me, didn't you, darling? You started that fire because you knew I was too much of an invalid to get out of bed.
Stay where you are!
You hated me, Geraldine.
Stop!
No. Your bullets can't harm me now. Nothing you can do can harm me. Because I'm dead and you're still alive.
Oh, David. David, forgive me. I didn't know what I was doing that night. Please believe me. I was sorry as soon as I started that fire, but it was too late then. I couldn't put it out. I couldn't.
How dare you ask my forgiveness when you're still lying?
But I'm not lying. I'm not. I told you everything.
Why didn't you tell the police?
Because I wanted to live.
You'll confess everything now?
Yes, David, yes, I will. If you'll only leave me alone, please. It was my cigarette case Laura found in the water. I'd thrown it over the bridge that same night after I took it out of the fire.
Well, I guess that's all we need, Harvey. A full confession with 2 witnesses.
Harvey!
Yes, Geraldine. I do look like my brother in this dim light.
Oh.
And the dog Laura's holding outside is the same breed as the one you own.
Laura? Laura? Did you say Laura was alive?
Very much so, Geraldine.
Wasn't hard for me to pretend being dead. With the doctor keeping you away from my body.
Then you were all in this together. You forced this confession out of me.
Yes, Geraldine. The blank cartridges Dr. Pricing slipped into that gun of yours really turned the trick. Oh, excuse me. Hello. Oh, hello, Inspector. Yes, it's all right now. You can hook the wires up again. She's told us the truth. And you'd better get to work on that bridge right away. It's still down.
What an outrage, all those opportunities for murder and not a drop of blood spilled all night long. Oh, well, some days you can't lay away a corpuscle. And now, a moment while our Colgate voices bring you a message.
Use Colgate tooth powder. Keep smiling just right. Use it each morning and use it at night to help you rate with every date. Use Colgate tooth powder.
Tell me, do you really mean it when you say, I want to be alone? Or are you just pretending that you don't care about dates? Could it be that a little breath of trouble has cooled your romance? A little breath? What a pity to let unpleasing breath ruin your romance. Why not brush your teeth night and morning and before every date with Colgate tooth powder? Scientific tests prove that Colgate tooth powder, in 7 cases out of 10, instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth. So use Colgate tooth powder for all it's worth. Enjoy its exciting cleansing results, too. No amount of money can buy you a dentifrice that will clean your teeth more quickly or effectively than Colgate tooth powder. Remember the name, Colgate tooth powder, with the accent on powder.
Don't take a chance with your romance. Use Colgate tooth powder.
Well, it's time for me to join the moonbeams now. But before I leave under a cloud, before I'm missed, I thought I might pass on the moral of tonight's story. If you must light a fire under your husband's bed, be careful where you drop the ashes. By the way, this month's Inner Sanctum mystery novel is Puzzle for Puppets by Patrick Quentin. Well, now it's really time to close that there squeaking door until next week when Colgate tooth powder brings you another Inner Sanctum mystery. So until then, good night. Pleasant dreams.
Latest reports from doctors on the 14-day Palmolive plan.
Kansas City reports better complexions for 93%.
New Orleans reports better complexions for 97%.
In city after city, doctors tested the 14-day Palmolive plan on all types of skin, and 2 out of 3 of all women tested got better complexions in 14 days.
What is this 14-day Palmolive plan?
Wash your face 3 times a day with Palmolive soap. Then, each time, take 60 seconds more to massage Palmolive's lovely soft lather onto your skin as you would a cream. Then rinse. This cleansing massage with Palmolive's lather brings your skin its full beautifying effect.
See what Palmolive can do for your skin in 14 days. Remember, doctors prove Palmolive's beauty results.
Remember, another Inner Sanctum mystery next Wednesday night. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
HOJO Radio, we're your old-time radio headquarters. Stay tuned.
Lipton Tea and Lipton Soup presents Inner Sanctum Mystery, starring Simone Simone. Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum. This is, of course, Raymond, your host. Please come in, won't you? Make yourself comfortable in a gloomy corner. We had intended to have a real surprise for you tonight. Instead of myself, we were going to have a guest ghost to act as host. But, unfortunately, this real ghost caught pneumonia, and he's in a very grave condition. The doctors have given up all hope. He's going to become alive.
Well, Mr. Raymond, I must admit I'm glad that ghost couldn't come. It's difficult enough to talk to you. But heavens, I wouldn't know what to say to a ghost.
Oh, well, that's simple, Mary. All you have to do is find out whether it's a he ghost or a she ghost.
And if it's a she?
Oh, then you compliment her on her appearance. You say, darling, what a divine sheet you're wearing.
That's right, Mr. Raymond. The ladies are always interested in something new to wear. And right now, I'm going to tell them about something they'll all want. It's a lovely piece of jewelry, a real sterling silver medallion about an inch in diameter. It's the kind of jewelry you find at those smart shops on Fifth Avenue in New York. But the only way you can get it is from Lipton's. The medallion is decorated with a Chinese inscription, and it's hung on a narrow black rayon satin ribbon. That's the height of fashion this year, you know. And here's how you get the medallion. Just send 25 cents and the box top from a package of Lipton's, the tea with the brisk flavor, to the Lipton Tea People, Box 92, New York City. Yes, that's Box 92 in New York City.
And now it's time to begin. Our story is called The Black Art. It's an original tale by Milton Lewis. And our star tonight is that glamorous motion picture star, Simone, who'll play the role of Claudine. So, gather close and get ready to hear a sweet little tale that'll make you wake up screaming for at least the next 2 weeks. You all set? Now remember, if you don't want your hair to stand on end, get someone to sit on your head. Okay? All right, now let's hear Larry Gifford tell you his story in his own words.
I never heard that scream. I wish I never saw a body lying there. Blood all over the room. The knife on the floor near her throat. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget how I picked up the knife. I'll never forget the sweat that came creeping out all over me when I heard the door slam.
Stand where you are. You make a move, I'll blow your head off.
Don't shoot, copper.
Drop that knife.
Okay.
What's your name?
Larry Gifford. Look, I'm from Chicago.
Stranger, huh?
Yeah, what of it?
What's her name?
Her? I don't know. I never saw her before. Look, you don't have to frisk me. I haven't got a gun.
Shut up.
I know it looks bad, but you see, my room's downstairs. I heard a scream, and Give me back that wallet.
Your hands up. Roll papers.
What of it? So I'm an ex-con, so what?
You don't know her, huh?
No, I don't. What have you got there?
It's the picture I found in your wallet, mister. Picture of her. To Larry. With all my love, Nancy. I reckon you forgot about this, huh?
Yeah, but look, I didn't kill her.
Shut up. I think I heard that scream and came up here. Pull out your hands.
Sure. You can have them. Come back here. Come back. I didn't get far. Crowd in the streets nabbed me. They gathered when they heard the shots and the scream. I was dumped in jail. Now, this was a little burg in the bayou country not far from New Orleans. I was the biggest thing that hit the town since Ripley's Believe It or Not. For them jerks, my trial was a bigger show than Carmen Miranda and Gypsy Rose Lee doing a trapeze act. In no time at all, they sentenced me to be hung. It was the night before they were going to take me to the state pen for the necktie party. I was sleeping, dreaming I was in Africa. They were beating them drums. Tom-toms. Suddenly I woke up. Moonlight was shining through the bars of my cell. Now listen. Someone was beating like a tom-tom on the wall of my jail. Who is it? Who's doing that?
Larry Gifford.
Yeah, that's me. Were you beating on the wall?
Yes. I'm under your cell window.
What do you want?
drop one end of your tie through the bars.
Okay. There.
I've got it.
What are you doing?
Pull up your tie.
Okay.
Got it?
A gun. Yeah, I got it.
Good luck.
Thanks, baby. Whoever you are.
What's going on there, Gifford?
Oh, nothing. Why?
I heard talking.
Oh, I was talking in my sleep.
Never done that before.
I never was going to be hung before.
What you holding there?
Come here, I'll show you.
What's that?
Look.
A gun?
Yeah, and it's got enough bullets to fill your head with lead. Go there. Open that door. Open it or I'll give it to you between the eyes. Go on.
Don't shoot.
Okay. Now take your gun. Give me those keys. See how you like it in there for a while. Come on.
Down! Here's your escape! Let me out! Here's your escape!
Blue Bottle Bar. Someone told me it was a good joint where they don't ask any questions. It was. I had a few drinks. I was leaning on the bar, looking at a paper.
What are you drinking?
Scotch.
Buy me one.
Gave it once over. I know something about dames, and she was dynamite with class. She was something.
Well?
Set up another, Charlie.
Cigarette?
There.
Thank you.
It's a nice cigarette holder. Must cost at least a C.
You know enough, don't you?
Enough? No, you.
Do you?
Sure. There's something about... Wait a second. Here. Here in this evening's paper, your picture.
Oh, it's not a very good picture, is it?
After seeing you, no. Claudine Lucerne. Recently returned from France. Elected head of art committee. Miss Lucerne, member of one of New Orleans' oldest and wealthiest families.
I've read it. Turn the page.
Why?
I want to show you something.
Okay.
There. Larry Gifford of Chicago, wanted for murder, is sought by police after sensational jailbreak.
Better not read anymore.
Why?
Feel something against your side? It's a gun. I'm holding it in my pocket.
Don't be afraid. I won't give you away. Got a light?
Yeah. What do you want?
Listen to that music.
That tapping.
What about it?
The way you're tapping your cigarette holder against your glass.
I'm just keeping time to the music.
I heard that tapping before. Yeah, sure, in the cell. And I heard your voice before.
Did you?
You gave me the gun.
Let me hear you.
What's this all about?
You'll find out. Relax.
I can't. I guess I had a few too many. My head, I feel like I'm spinning around. Getting dizzy. Two green eyes. Pink with blood around the edges looked at me out of a queer furry head. It was the head of a bat. It smiled. It had sharp little bat teeth that had pink on them. There was an ache in my throat. I looked again. It wasn't a bat's face. It was hers. Claudine. I was drinking. Oh. Where am I?
My suite at the hotel.
How did I get here?
You passed out at the Blue Bottle. I brought you here.
When?
2 hours ago.
Oh, I must have been sleeping. I had the queerest dream. I thought... Oh.
What's the matter?
My throat. That pain. knife. Those green eyes of yours. Red mouth. Those white teeth. Look, we're going to have a showdown right now. I'm... Where's my gun?
I took it.
Look, what do you want with me?
Nothing you don't want to do yourself.
Don't talk in riddles.
Have you ever been in love?
Sure, dames are always falling for me. Why?
I guess that's what happened to me.
Are you kidding?
No. Do you think I'd get you out of jail for a while?
But I never saw you before.
I saw you at the trial. That's where it happened.
Oh, how can a dame like you go for a guy like me?
I don't know. But it happened.
I don't believe it.
I'm sorry.
Come here.
Yes?
I'm going to kiss you, baby.
Larry. Oh, Larry.
Yeah, it's a funny thing to do. Kiss a guy on the neck. Better wipe that lipstick off. Hey.
What's in that?
My handkerchief, that ain't lip rouge on my neck. It's blood.
No, you're making a mistake.
My neck's bleeding. What kind of a dame are you, anyway? I'm getting out.
No, don't. If you go, I'd tell them who you are.
Oh, you will?
Yes, and I...
You won't tell them for a while, baby. Grady's joint in the old city of New Orleans was just a place. She'd never find me in that dump. Nobody'd ever find you there. I got a room. I went to sleep. I was safe. Then I heard it again. That same rhythm. It woke me up. I heard it, but I couldn't believe it. How could she know I was here? Or was it her? There was nobody in the room. I opened the door. Nobody outside. I slammed it. The beating stopped. I turned around. She's looking into the muzzle of a gun.
Sit down, Larry.
How'd you get here?
My Grady ran to the room next to you. There's an connecting door.
What's the idea of the gun?
Can't you guess?
You gonna kill me?
Maybe.
Well, you're going to a lot of trouble to bump off a guy who's gonna be hung anyway.
Do you want to die?
No.
There is a way you can live.
How?
By coming with me.
Yeah. What else have I got to do?
Marry me.
You're out of your head.
You hate me?
No, I don't. I don't hate you. I'm scared of you. Yeah, I've never been scared of anybody the way I'm scared of you.
Scared enough to do as I say?
Maybe.
I had hoped you would love me.
Maybe I do.
You're lying.
No, baby.
It's no use.
Look, what are you going to do?
Kill you?
No, put the gun down. Give me a break. Don't.
Man, that Claudine's the kid of her words. When she tells someone she's gonna kill him, she does it. She'd make a wonderful wife for some Frankenstein monster. She's attractive, a good killer, and she has a well-developed taste for blood. Hey, why should I hand her over to some other guy? She's just a gal for me.
Nonsense, Mr. Raymond.
Why, Mary Bennett, I believe you're jealous.
I am not.
Yes, you are. You're thinking what a handsome couple you and I would make strolling down the avenue, me dressed in a shroud, and you wearing your new sterling silver medallion.
Now, don't you go making fun of my lovely medallion, because I want all the ladies to send in for one. I know they're going to enjoy wearing it, because it's made of solid sterling silver, and it's really a fine piece of jewelry. Besides, there's a true story behind this medallion, an inspiring story. It seems that the original was given to an American flyer by Chinese guerrillas who rescued him after he'd bailed out over enemy territory. The flyer was told that the Chinese characters on the medallion would identify him and bring him safely through the lines. Well, he did get through, and only then did he learn that the medallion said, "Good luck," in Chinese. Now, there's a story to tell your friends. And to get this good luck charm, just like the one the flyer carried, all you have to do is send 25 cents and the box top from a package of Lipton, the tea with the brisk flavor, to the Lipton Tea People, Box 92. That's Box 92, New York City.
Now, let's get back to our star, Simone, who seems to be making life hard for a guy named Larry. The last time we looked in, she had just shot him. But I've got a tip that that's only the beginning of his troubles. How about it, Larry? What happened then?
I went down in a heap when she fired. The bullets caught me in the thigh. I lay there, laid out like I was dead.
Larry.
And she fell for it. She bent over me, a gun in her hand.
Larry. Oh!
Take it easy, kid.
Let go of my hand.
Now, I get that gun.
Let go. Let go.
Get that gun if I have to break your arm.
No, don't. Oh.
Okay. Got it now. You shot me in the leg, but I'm still strong enough to get rid of you.
Larry.
I'm no angel, baby, but you're worse. You're something I heard about, but I never believed. How'd you know I'd be here? How'd you know I'd be in the blue bottle? Go on, answer me.
I've got nothing to do.
No, you don't have to. Magic. Black magic. Somebody nobody'd believe if I ever told him. There's only one thing to do with you.
Yes?
Kill you. But I ain't taking any chances like you did with me. When I kill you, you're going to stay dead. Those tom-toms are going to stop forever.
You think so, Larry?
I know it. Come here.
Larry,
Shut up.
Oh!
I knocked her out cold. She lay on the floor. Put the muzzle of the gun to her temple. She was so beautiful it made you shiver. Pull the trigger. I looked. What I saw nearly made me pass out. A little blue vein on her temple was beating. There wasn't a scratch on her. A little curl of red hair was twisted around her ear. Was I seeing things? I aimed the gun at her heart. Nothing. Not a speck of blood. Stuck the muzzle between her eyes. Shot till the gun clicked empty. I looked. The white skin on her face was more beautiful than ever. Had to get away. Out of the same city where she was. Out of the same state. The same world. I let out for the open country. To the bayous on the river back in New Orleans. My wounds festered as I dragged myself through the swamps. And I got a fever. It's like a nightmare. In my head, I kept feeling those tom-toms. I couldn't take a train or a bus or go to a doctor. I'd be caught. One night I saw a big house shining in the moonlight. I decided to take a chance. I knocked at the door.
What is it?
Sorry, miss. I was hunting. I had an accident in my leg.
Oh.
If you let me come in and call a doctor, I'd be very grateful.
You don't want to come into this house.
Can't you see I need help?
You'll never be helped here. There's nothing good here, only evil and fear. So go away, please. I'm warning you. Go away before my sister comes out.
What's the matter with you? Don't you see I can hardly move?
Go away while you still have the strength to crawl away. Now, believe me.
Close the door, Chester.
That voice.
That's my sister.
This is your sister.
How do you miss that?
Good evening, Larry. I was wondering when you'd get here.
You know him?
Yes. Mr. Gifford and I are old friends.
How can you have a friend?
Now, Cassie.
He's someone like you.
You mustn't mind her, Larry. Cassie isn't quite well.
I don't know who you are, Mr. Gifford. But I do know that she's brought you here to kill me.
Cassie?
I knew it would happen on a night like this when the moon was full. She's been preparing for it for months. I've told everyone about it, but no one will believe me. I've told them again and again, and they say I'm insane. They think I've lost my mind. But she is going to murder me. Tonight, while the moon is full, she's going to murder me.
Go to your room, Cassie, immediately.
Yes. Yes. Let's go. I'll go.
How did you get here?
I live here. Come, Larry. You must know by this time that you can't fight me.
Yes, I thought I'd never see you again. I'm not well. I've got a fever. Hey, that tom-tom beating in my brain. I can't stop it. It's getting louder and louder. I blacked out. When I opened my eyes again, I was in a soft bed with clean sheets. Someone had dressed my wounds. The moonlight came into my room like a living yellow ghost. And I heard it. Just like the one Nancy made when she was killed. I limped out of bed, went to the room next door. It was Kathy on the floor, murdered. The knife was still in her neck. And I heard it again. The tom-tom. Queer sounding this time. I felt myself beginning to sway to the rhythm like a dancer. Then I did something I couldn't stop myself from doing. I put my hands down, drew out the knife. I wiped my bloody hand on my shirt. Suddenly I looked up. She was there. Claudine.
Drop the knife, Larry.
What have you got in your hand?
These? This came from the skeleton of someone who was once alive.
You're not a woman. You're a devil. I'm going to...
Don't come any closer, Larry. I don't want to kill you just yet.
Just yet? So we're close to the payoff.
Yeah. You're trembling, Larry.
Who are you?
There's no reason why I cannot tell you now. You don't believe, do you, that there are unseen powers that can be controlled by someone who knows how?
I can believe anything about you.
Thank you, Larry. Your heart is pounding like a throbbing drum, isn't it, Larry? You can feel death close, can't you?
What have you got to say to me?
I'm going to tell you a story. Story of a child who was brought up on this estate by a strange old woman, a conjure woman. In her head were all the black arts of the world. She taught him.
Why are you telling me this?
It amuses me to watch you a murderer, helpless and terrified. So terrified you can hardly breathe. I find it very exciting.
It was blood I found on my handkerchief.
Yes. It is one of the ways to gain complete power over a person.
And a tom-tom.
Another spell to make you do what I want.
And the murder of your sister? You want me to be the patsy for that?
You're beginning to understand. You see, Cassie and I inherited the estate. There's really not enough for both of us.
Then tell him I did it.
Yeah. And that I killed you in self-defense.
What are you looking at me that way for?
I was remembering something.
Remembering? Oh. That kiss, baby, wasn't it? You're the devil, but still a woman, ain't you? You didn't forget that kiss, did you?
No.
What are you going to do?
Come here. Closer.
Well,
don't move. There.
You're going to let me live.
Live? When it's my life against yours, you fool.
Don't put that gun down.
When I'm finished.
Please, give me a break. I'm begging you.
Begging you?
I'll do anything you say. Just give me a chance, please.
Here it comes, Larry. Between your eyes.
How do you feel today, Gifford?
Much better, officer. Leg's healing fine.
We checked that crazy story you told us. It's all true.
Tell me something. How'd you know to come to the Lucerne place when you did? You arrived just in time. A second later and she would have killed me.
Kathy, your sister, phoned us, told us to come out. I came in the room and saw her threatening you with a gun. I shot at her. I had to. Got her in the shoulder.
Should have killed her.
State will take care of that.
Did you believe the story she told you at first? That I killed her sister and she was killing me in self-defense?
No. You see, Gifford, we'd found out that you weren't a murderer. You didn't kill Nancy Warren. The man who did that confessed. That made her whole story false.
How did she do it, Captain? How did she find out where I always went?
Three psychiatrists said she did it by post-hypnotic suggestion. Told you where to go while you were asleep, and you never realized that you were always doing just what you wanted.
The bullets when I shot at her and tried to kill her, how'd she do that?
It was all carefully planned. The first shot she fired at you were real bullets. The others in the gun were blanks. She wanted to get you so thoroughly under her power that you think she couldn't be killed. You see, all this so-called black magic has an explanation.
Has he? I wonder.
Oh, that black magic. I tell you what I'm going to do. Step right this way, friends, and get yourself a post-hypnotic suggestion. Spell it backwards, and you get murder. What then? You can't spell. Ain't you lucky?
Talking of luck, Mr. Raymond, I think Larry Gifford was mighty lucky to escape that awful woman.
Oh, well, you see, Mary, it's very simple. He probably wore one of your good luck medallions.
Oh, now that's plain silly. A man wouldn't wear a medallion on a black rayon satin ribbon. It's the ladies who like jewelry. Yes, that's why I know that they'll appreciate this solid sterling silver medallion that the Lipton people want to send them. And, ladies, here's how you get it. Send just 25 cents, which includes tax and postage, with a box top from a package of Lipton's, the tea with the brisk flavor, to the Lipton Tea People, Box 92 in New York City.
The moral for tonight's assault on your nerves is never marry a dame who sucks blood out of your throat. Such dames give you a pain in the neck. By the way, this month's Inner Sanctum Mystery novel is The Red Right Hand by Joel Townsley Rogers. Yes, and don't you dare miss next week's story, directed by Hyman Brown and brought to you by Lipton Tea and Lipton Soup. Next week's story is about a pair of murderers who get scared to death. They're more frightened than the guy they're murdering. So if you hear some static on your radio next Tuesday, it'll just be their knees knocking together. Well, now I guess it's really time to close that there squeaking door, so good night, for real. Pleasant dreams.
Folks, the next time you send a box of food to your boy overseas, be sure to include a package or two of Lipton's noodle soup mix. You see, Lipton's is just like a taste of home. It has the same homemade, chickeny taste as the soup you make yourself. The soup your boy's always been so fond of. That's why it's such a thoughtful, welcome little gift to send Lipton's. And as you know yourself, Lipton's noodle soup makes a grand snack. So remember, send a package or two to your boy. And remember to tune in next Tuesday night for another Inner Sanctum Mystery.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Our next broadcast is a supernatural fantasy series that ran from 1943 through 1945. There were 78 episodes produced altogether. The show's strength was stories from famous writers of the two genres, including Robert Louis Stevenson, Victor Hugo, Edgar Allan Poe, and even Charles Dickens. One of the more unusual aspects of the show was that there was no music, other than between scenes. Some have claimed that this lack of music helps to keep the show from being dated, as it remains fresh to this day. We present to you The Weird Circle on HOJO Radio.
Out of the past, phantoms of a world gone by, speak again the immortal tale, The Ghost's Touch.
Is it true that when you are very close to death, the dead are really able to reach out to protect you? I don't know, but Ralph Zant and I had been married only a few months when he died. We had been so completely and deeply in love that the memory of the happiness we had found is a thing which will always dominate my life. Well, John Stevens, one of Ralph's best friends, had invited me to spend some time with him on the coast where he had a large house. It was in the town where I had first met Ralph. Mrs. Stewart, my housekeeper and companion, went with me, and Paul Weston, another of Ralph's closest friends, was also there. But he lived in his own house nearby. I had been enjoying my stay there immensely. John had not been with us much, but Mrs. Stewart and I enjoyed the park and the beach. John had been particularly careful about my food, a fact which greatly pleased me. One morning, Mrs. Stewart and I had just returned from the beach. We were standing in the great front hall of the house when she brought up something I know had been on both our minds ever since we'd arrived.
My, it's quiet in this big old house.
Hasn't it been quiet, Mrs. Stewart? You know, I can remember when this was one of the liveliest houses in St. Anne's. And John was one of the jolliest men alive.
Sort of gives me the willies, Mrs. Zant. Something kind of brooding here. No one ever around this part of the house. The servants are all way off in the back there.
Does that seem strange to you? You know, I thought that maybe I was just disappointed, comparing it with the way I remembered it when Ralph and I were here together.
Oh, no, ma'am. There's something funny here. You mark my words. I didn't want to say nothing, hoping not to worry you. But Mr. John has acted so strange, too.
He's a lot more thoughtful than he ever was before.
And then there's that funny smell.
Yes, I've smelled that, too. But I thought it was just my imagination.
And the strange way Mr. John looks at you after breakfast, when he gets up so solemn-like and goes up into that room at the head of the stairs. He never comes out again till dinner. So what's in that room anyway, Mrs. Zant?
Well, I don't know. It's a study of some sort, I guess, where John's doing some work.
You know, yesterday I got hunting for that smell, and I traced it right to that door. I sniffed all around there and tried to decide what it was. I heard something in there, too.
What?
Mr. John was in there. I could hear him muttering to himself. No words, mind you, just muttering. And every once in a while, it sounded as though he was stirring something in the glass. Finally, guess what he said?
Oh, Mrs. Stewart, I think you've been imagining things. We're letting ourselves get nervous over something that's probably nothing at all.
Well, he said, at last. Now I'm certain this'll work. And just then he came toward the door, so I ran back to my room and shut the door.
Well, I don't think he'd mind if we went and paid him a visit. Then we can see what he's doing. I wonder if he's up there now.
Oh, my goodness, that startled me.
Just the front door.
Why, it's Mr. Paul. I can see him through the glass in the door. I'll just let him in. It takes these servants here so long to get from way back where they are.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Stewart. Is Mrs. Zant here?
Hello, Paul. Come on in.
Oh, why, Dorothy. What are you standing there like that for? You look worried, and as though you're just about to do something about it.
Well, Paul, as a matter of fact, we were just going up to pay John a visit in his study. There at the head of the stairs.
Study? Why, Dorothy, didn't he tell you what that is?
No.
That's a laboratory, and he's forbidden everyone to come in there, practically on pain of death.
Well, he hasn't forbidden me, and I'm going to find out what goes on in there. I think that was a little mean of him.
Oh, Mrs. Sand, do you think you'd better?
Certainly I do. And I'm going up now.
Well, I might as well get hung for a sheep as a lamb. I'll come along, too. Stewart.
Well, you aren't frightened, are you, Mrs. Stewart?
There's no telling what we may find.
Well, it can't be too awful. John's no demon, anyway.
No answer? Maybe he's gone out. I'm going to look and see.
Be careful, Mrs. Zant.
Get out. I told you. Oh, Dorothy, come in. I didn't realize it was you.
Well, we're all here, John. We came up to pay you a little visit.
Fine. Come on in, but shut the door. Hello, Paul. When did you arrive?
Just came in. Dorothy said she wanted to come up here. I told her we'd all been forbidden, but she insisted, so my curiosity got the better of me, too.
Well, that's fine. I'm really glad you did. This is a good day for me.
This is really magnificent.
Yes, Dorothy. What do you think of my private domain?
Well, it's big enough, I'll say that for it. It's a little frightening.
Yeah, don't smell so good to me either.
Mrs. Stewart doesn't understand experiments the way we do, does she, Dorothy?
No, I don't, Mr. John. And after seeing Mrs. Zant fooling with them dangerous chemicals, I don't know as I want to either.
Oh. What's that, Dorothy? You?
Why, yes, Paul. I've been doing some experiments. Just for fun, mostly, but it does take up my time since I'm alone so much. That's why I think it was so unfair of John not to tell me he had such a wonderful laboratory here.
Well, Dorothy, I've been saving that for later, until this experiment is well underway. I've been hoping we might work together very soon.
John, what are those tables over there? They look like...
They're dissecting tables? Yes, that's what they are.
Well, of course, if you're going in for anatomy on the side, I'm afraid you'll leave me way behind.
Why, no, my dear, quite the contrary. I had hoped you'd follow right along. I'm sure you will with this new experiment.
Well, you've got to tell us now what this experiment is. You've certainly got our curiosity aroused.
Now, I'll tell you, of course. I have finally developed a new formula. This is the chemical part, which will eventually make a subject absolutely impervious to pain. That is, I will be able to operate without the use of anesthetics. Perform any sort of operation I wish.
How does it work?
I feed small doses of a certain formula, a very dangerous one, by the way, to the patient in his food. Dangerous because while he's taking them, the patient occasionally falls into semi-conscious states in which he is very close to death. Then, when a certain stage is reached, there is one more dose which the patient must drink straight, without any other food. Then the subject becomes unconscious of any pain whatever.
But what's the purpose of that? Surely the development of anesthetics.
But this, you see, leaves the scientists free to operate on conscious living animals without the stopping of some functions brought on by anesthetics. And this never wears off.
Have you ever tried it?
Several times, my dear, and with success. I am just waiting now to try my greatest experiment of the lot. To use my formula on the most complicated of living organisms, the human.
But, John, you're not going to go on with this, are you?
Well, certainly. Why should I stop now? Especially when I'm so near the final experiment.
Do you mind, John, if Mrs. Stewart and I go down to the beach? I'm afraid the air in here has made me a little dizzy.
That's a good idea, Dorothy. We'll come right along to walk with you.
By all means, go ahead. Do get plenty of fresh air, my dear. I hope you'll see more of the laboratory later. Much more.
I wondered then what it was in John's look that startled me. Or was it something in his voice? A chill of apprehension made me turn and hurry ahead of Mrs. Stewart out into the cool seashore air. I was sure that John was telling me something, saying something to me alone. And I was afraid even then to let myself believe what I thought it was. Mrs. Stewart and I walked through the little park that lay between the house and the beach. It was a place of many wonderful memories to me, the place where Ralph had first kissed me. We passed the tree where Ralph and I had stood that day, and Mrs. Stewart, bless her, knew what I felt as we came to the spot. She looked at me.
These memories aren't going to spoil your visit now, are they, Mrs. Ant? You know, there's a lot of things a person has to live with all her life.
Oh, no, Mrs. Stewart. My memories of him wouldn't spoil anything. They're too beautiful.
Well, I just thought from the way you were looking over at that tree, the one...
You know, I'm going over and touch that tree. Just for luck. I feel as though I need some luck right now.
Mrs. Ant. Mrs. Ant. Mrs. Ant, what's wrong? What are you looking like that for? As though you'd seen a ghost.
Oh, Mrs. Stewart, Where are you?
Mrs. Ant, can't you see me here? Well, you're looking at me as though you've gone blind. Mrs. Ant. Mrs. Ant. Mrs. Ant.
No, I'm not blind. I can see everything. The tree, the grass, the whole park. But you've gone. I can't hear you anymore. I can't see you. Mrs. Stewart! Mrs. Stewart!
You remembered, didn't you, Dorothy? You're not afraid.
Oh, Ralph. You're here. But I can't see you. It seems as though I can feel your hand on mine. But I can't see you.
I'm right here beside you, darling. Always beside you.
You've been gone so long, Ralph.
I'm always beside you.
But I haven't seen you. I haven't been with you before.
Dorothy. Dorothy, darling. It can't be for long this time either. They're coming soon. They're on their way now.
Who, my dearest?
All of them. Don't forget the others. They'll be here. Don't forget the others.
Why can't I see you, Ralph, when I want to so much? I can still feel you. It seems as though you have your arm around me. Oh, Ralph. Oh, Ralph.
I'm here, though. Right here with you, my darling.
Why didn't you let me know before that we were so near to each other?
Because you had to come a long way to me first. And now it's time for you to know it certainly. You already know why.
Are you here to protect me? You are. You are, I know it. But from what, Ralph? From what?
Dorothy! Dorothy!
Mrs. Sand! Oh, thank heavens, Mrs. Sand! You are, aren't you, Ralph? You will protect me. I'll come back to see you here, Ralph. I'll come back. Ralph! Where are you? Why don't you answer? Oh, Ralph, where are you?
Dorothy, it's all right. Dorothy, can't you hear me? Can't you see me?
Oh, Paul. Paul, it's you.
Yes, Dorothy. Do you feel all right?
Oh,
Mrs. Stewart.
Oh, Mrs. Sand, I ran and found Mr. Paul as fast as I could. You stood there looking straight at me and you wouldn't answer me. You didn't even see me when I put my hand up in front of your face. Oh, you gave me an awful fright.
Mrs. Stewart came running for us. She said you seemed to have gone into a trance.
I came as soon as I could. She's all right now, isn't she?
Yes, now she is. But it certainly is strange.
Not strange at all. In fact, rather to be expected.
Why, Mr. John, Mrs. Zant hasn't ever had anything like that before. You didn't even see how she was. Mr. Paul here can tell you.
Why expected, John?
Oh, perhaps the air in the laboratory upset her. Perhaps something she ate. Who knows? The shock of Ralph's passing away hasn't really left her yet, has it, my dear?
I think we're imagining things.
I'm afraid that perhaps the food my cook has been serving has been a bit rich these past few days. I spoke to her about it this morning.
You all right now, Mrs. Zant?
Oh, quite all right, thank you. I think we'd better go down to the beach.
I'll come along with you, Dorothy.
If you'll excuse me, I must get back to the laboratory. My dog has been acting rather strangely in the last few minutes. Something very interesting may develop. Will you excuse me?
Certainly, John. We'll be back shortly.
Don't hurry. Dinner won't be ready for a while, and that's all you'll need to be back for. I'll see you later.
Dorothy, I don't like this at all.
Are you afraid of something, Paul?
Mr. Paul needs this funny spell you just had, and I agree with him.
It was very strange, but it was very wonderful.
Tell me, Dorothy, you know something about chemistry. Would it be possible for John actually to do what he says he has done?
Well, there are a great many strange things that can be done with chemistry, Paul. And I believe, yes, that a mind bent on such an insane purpose could probably develop such a combination.
But wouldn't it be very dangerous?
You're thinking of that spell I just had in connection with it, aren't you?
Well, he did say some strange things there in the laboratory.
And you may be very right, too, Paul, in suspecting him. I may already have been...
Dorothy.
Oh, Mrs. Sand, no. Please, let's go home today.
But, Dorothy, if you think...
No, Paul. Something happened when I was standing under that tree. I talked to Ralph.
But, Dorothy...
And I promised to go back to talk to him again tomorrow. You see, I have to stay here now, because I must talk to him again.
It isn't possible.
I may be in great danger, Paul. Even this minute, here with you on this sunny beach, I may be very near to death. But I want to see whether what I believe is true. Because perhaps I am so close to death that the spirit of the man who loves me can reach across the narrow space that divides us and protect me. If that is so, I will have discovered more than 1,000 insane experiments can prove. You see, I have to stay now.
But, Dorothy, hasn't he protected you already? Hasn't he warned you?
No, Paul. He's waiting for something. Something else. I think I know what.
Didn't he say?
No, but there will be more. He told me to come back. He wouldn't have done that if there weren't more, would he?
Shall I have the main dish brought in? Are you both ready? I think you'll find the dinner very good tonight. Since I spoke to the cook this morning, she... Oh, here it is now.
Are you sure you feel well enough to eat, Dorothy?
Yes, thank you, Paul. I feel very well now.
The afternoon must... Oh, Rogers, I believe you've mixed the plates. That one is for Mrs. Zant.
That's all right, John. I don't believe I'll have much dinner anyway. I'm not very hungry. Give Dorothy mine.
But I insist. Dorothy's is really quite special.
Listen. Oh, listen.
Is something wrong, my dear?
No, it was nothing.
But, John, does it really matter that much?
Perhaps John has had something special prepared for me, Paul. That's very nice of him, and it will be quite all right.
Thank you, Dorothy. We scientists seem to understand each other, don't we?
Dorothy.
It's all right, Paul.
This dinner and going to bed early tonight, we'll fix Dorothy up splendidly, Paul. Wait and see.
Suddenly I had felt Ralph close to me again. It gave me a new confidence, a knowledge that whatever happened now, I was protected. I tasted nothing strange about the food, but I hadn't noticed anything in the meals before either. Ralph was waiting, I was sure now, until John became bold enough to spell his own destruction. The next afternoon, nothing could have kept me in the house. John had been in the laboratory all morning. And when I looked in, I noticed through the shutter that one of the operating tables was covered with clean white sheets. I went quickly out to the tree where I had been with Ralph the day before. It seemed a long time before I again felt that strange, numb feeling, as though my life had almost left my body. But...
Dorothy, my darling, you are here, under our tree.
How could I help coming, Ralph, when you promised that we'd be together again today?
I didn't promise, my dear. I couldn't promise that much. But remember, my darling, I am always near you.
Ralph, where are you? You aren't here anymore. What was that? I'm frightened, Ralph. Look. The grass is all beginning to burn and turn brown. Our tree is withering. Ralph! What was that? That great black mass coming toward me.
Dorothy!
John, where did you come from? I can only see your face staring at me out of that awful darkness.
It's all right, isn't it, Dorothy? You're going to be all right. You said so last night. And you know it's true, don't you?
What's true? I don't know anything now. Where's Ralph? Oh, John, why are you frightening me this way? Ralph!
You're going to be all right now. Aren't you, Dorothy? All right now.
You're all right now, aren't you, Dorothy?
Which one of those spells again, Mrs. Zant? I'm frightened.
Mrs. Stewart and I came out to walk with you, Dorothy. We found you here again, just standing here, not seeing anything.
I'm going to call Mr. Paul. I don't like this. It frightens me. Mr. Paul will know what to do.
Shall we go back to the house, Dorothy? You'll feel better in a minute.
No, John, let's just wait here a minute. Mrs. Stewart will be back with Paul.
But everything is ready at the house. I have some work waiting.
But, John, that darkness all around you. I can't see anything but your face again.
You will follow me back to the house, won't you, Dorothy? That's it. Of course you will.
Yes, John. Of course. I'll come with you. Everything here is brown and burnt. Park has grown so withered. It's horrible here now.
Come on, Dorothy. We'll go slowly. Come along with me. One step. One step. That's it. Come along with me.
Look at those birds over there. They're such big black birds. And they're falling, dropping right into the sea. What's the matter with them, John? Why don't they come up again?
Don't be afraid of them, Dorothy. Just come with me. One step. One step.
And look, those awful things. Snakes. Snakes. Huge ones. And they're not moving. John, they're dead. Nothing here ever stays alive anymore. Oh, it's hard. It's hard. It's burning hot.
It doesn't matter now, Dorothy. Nothing will hurt anymore. One step. One step. Here's the door. The door to the house. Wait. Wait while I open it.
But John, it's open. It's open and it's all dark in there. So dark I can't even see your face anymore. John, where are you?
Right here, Dorothy. Come up the stairs. One step. One step.
But everything is so confused. I can't find the stairs. I can't find anything. It isn't real. Everything is mixed up. I've lost something. I've lost something I can't remember.
We're almost there, Dorothy. One step. One step.
I can't remember. It was... Ralph! Ralph! Ralph, where are you? I'm afraid. I'm alone here in the darkness. There's no one here. Even John has gone away now, and there isn't any light. Ralph! Oh, Ralph. Oh, Ralph, you are near me. I can feel you here now. I'm not alone.
It's near now. It's almost time, my darling. Here, let me hold your hand.
I can feel your hand on mine, Ralph, but I still can't see you. It's so dark in here.
Come on, Dorothy. The stairs are there. One step. One step.
Oh, Ralph, your hand is helping me along. Hold me tight.
In here, Dorothy. Right in here. This is where we'll work, isn't it?
It's the laboratory, Ralph. This horrible, evil-smelling laboratory. Ralph, I'm afraid. Why don't you speak to me?
Now we're all right, Dorothy. Now we'll work together, won't we?
I'm thirsty. I'm so terribly thirsty. That heat. The park is so hot. It's all burned up. I'm thirsty.
Here, drink this, Dorothy. This will cure your thirst. You'll be all right. Nothing will hurt anymore.
I'm not afraid now, Ralph. I'm thirsty. Why can't I have a drink? It'll be all right.
That's right, Dorothy. Drink this. Let me hold it up to your lips.
I'm so thirsty. I'm going to... Don't let go of me, Ralph!
What is it, Mrs. Anna? Mrs. Anna, look there.
Lord, what's got him?
He's choking to death. Something's strangling him.
John. John. He's dead.
Oh!
He was just holding that glass to your lips, Dorothy, when we came in, and suddenly it shook out of his hand as though someone had grabbed hold of his wrist. A powerful hand.
It was like as if a ghost had reached out and knocked that glass out of his hand.
Someone did, Paul. Ralph.
But no one was here. It couldn't have been...
Oh, Mrs. Sam.
I was protected. I knew I would be. Ralph was able to reach across and save me, Paul. I know it.
From the time-worn pages of the past, we have brought you The Ghost's Touch. Bellkeeper, toll the bell.
Stay tuned to HOJO Radio.
Phantoms of a world gone by, speak again the immortal tale, The Bell Tower. Here is the ruin of the famous bell tower built by the great Bonadonna 4 centuries ago. It doesn't look like much, does it?
a heap of rubble, shapeless, covered with earth and black moss. If I hadn't told you it was once a bell tower, the pride of all Italy, you would think it was only an ugly rubbish pile, mercifully grown over by the jungle of time. But dreams lie buried here, and memories, and the ghosts of a man and his genius are said to haunt the spot. Some even say the spirit of Bonadonna's bell still tolls high up in the silent night sky. Others scoff, a bell cannot have a ghost, even if there were such things. But what is that ghostly sound? Surely no earthly bell ever sounded like that. Can it be that Bonadonna's bell actually does toll for its long-dead maker, though the tower that supported it is now no more? Or does the shade of Bonadonna himself still linger here, thinking back to the day he was called in by the chief magistrate of the town?
I'm flattered, Your Honor, that the chief magistrate of so prosperous a town should have heard of the humble architect called Bonadonna.
Your pretended modesty is not very convincing, Signor Bonadonna. But if I were responsible for the wonderful monuments you have built, I suppose I wouldn't be very modest either.
Naturally. But there is only one Bonadonna. Perhaps you should start by imagining yourself Michelangelo and work up to imagining yourself the incomparable Bonadonna.
Michelangelo was a very great artist.
A beginner. He would have sat at my feet.
Your views are interesting, Signor Bonadonna, but it was not to discuss art that I summoned you here.
Spare the oratory, Your Honor. My time is valuable.
To be sure. Briefly, Signor, our town has grown rich through trade with the Near East. And now, at last, we can afford the finest monument in all of Italy. The elders have voted to have you build the most imposing bell tower that your genius can conceive.
Your town must be very rich indeed to afford my services.
Never fear, the money is there. More than you have ever been paid before. And if you build a bell tower that will bring admirers from all over the civilized world, you will get a bonus of twice the fee agreed upon.
That is an incentive.
Can you fulfill it?
I will erect a bell tower that will endure forever. Its fame will be known wherever men dwell, be it in palaces or caves.
That, Signor Bonadonna, is precisely what we want.
And I am just the man to do it.
Always bustling with commerce, its harbor filled with proud sailing ships and the streets with sailors from all over the Mediterranean, the town suddenly realized what real activity was when Bonadonna brought his crew of masons and artisans. The chief magistrate and the elders came day by day to marvel as stone by stone and month after month the tower strained toward the sky. But there were some who grumbled at this amazing creation of Bonadonna's genius.
I tell you, Bonadonna is mad. No matter how great an architect he is, he can't build a tower as high as this without a wider base. He wants to build it so slim and tall that people will wonder how it stands against even the gentlest breeze.
Against the breeze, yes. But when the winter gales roar down from the mountains...
it'll topple like a pencil stood on end.
Take it easy.
Here.
More bricks for you, Enrico and Cesare.
Careful how you dump those bricks, Paolo.
You want the whole insane tower to come tumbling down?
Oh, you two are always grumbling. One would think you were better architects than Bonadonna himself.
Better than he used to be? No. But Signor Bonadonna is not as sane and cautious as he once was.
What? Are you hinting that he is...
Crazy? Yes. You think he is not a maniac, eh, Paolo?
That's right. We will prove it then. We are on the top of the tower, huh? How high above the ground are we?
200 feet.
And Bonadonna proposes to build it another 100 feet, 300 in all. Yet the base is wide enough for a tower only half that height.
Already you can feel it sway when the wind is strong.
What will happen when the winter comes and the gales roar down from the mountains?
Always you are asking that question, Enrico. And you never phrase it differently.
This is no time for literary effect. Answer what I ask.
Well, I don't know. I am no Bonadonna. He must have made allowances for the wind and earthquakes.
With a huge bell and clock on top of the tower.
The weight alone will be enough to pull the whole thing down. And when the gales roar down from the mountain... I know. Well, I will admit that my wife worries when I leave for work in the morning.
And why, Paolo?
Well, it's silly. You know how women talk. She says if the tower stands when it is 300 feet tall, it will prove that Banadonna is in league with Satan.
Ah. That is a possibility, Cesare. Of course, Enrico. I had not thought of it. That would explain why he thinks it can stand on so small a base.
And the gales that will roar down from the mountains will not tumble it to the ground.
Banadonna. In league with Satan.
Hey, you up there. What are you doing chattering and loafing? Get to work.
Slave driver.
Tool of the devil. The Lord will have vengeance for this blasphemous bell tower. He will smash it to the ground, and you along with it.
All right, you incompetent fools. The metal is molten. Swing it over to the mold.
Give me a hand here.
Ready now. Into the mold. Pour. There. Everything is finished. Now all we have to do is wait for the bell to cool in its mold. And then haul it up to the top of the tower.
Signor Banadonna.
What is it, Paolo?
The men and we have been talking. My wife, too. Of course, you know what women are, but it's different with the men. I mean, we're all experienced. We've worked with you a long time.
What in the name of heaven are you gabbling about?
You dare to use that sacred name, you?
Name of the saints? Who has a better right than the great Banadonna? Will you come to the point?
It is the bell tower, Signor. There is only one way that a tower so high can be supported by so slim a base.
Yes. Which way is that?
By a pact with the devil.
You fools! You superstitious apes! I am hundreds of years ahead of my time. I worked out mathematically every stress and strain before the first shovel dug into the soil. Heh! I don't need Satan. My science is enough.
But, Signor, look at the size of the bell we are casting. When we pull it up to the top of the tower, its weight will make the whole thing...
Stupido vigliacco maladeso!
Signor Banadonna, what are you going to do?
You won't stop me!
Signor.
You hear?
Signor.
This tower is my dream!
No, Signor!
I'll kill you! You
Signor.
won't interfere with my plans! Go in! There. That will teach you to meddle. Does anyone else want a taste of the same medicine? I thought not. All right. Remove the body of this poor dead fool. And then get back to work. And I'll stand for no more nonsense. Or Paolo will have company in a graveyard.
You will hang for this.
The great Banadonna? Hang for the killing of a stupid pig? I know. There is no court that would convict the greatest architect in all Italy.
Poor Paolo. How are we going to break the news to his wife?
Look, with one blow of that murderous ladle, that devil's accomplice smashed in his skull. See how the blood is splattered everywhere. Oh, Enrico.
What is it, Cesare?
Look at the bell we are casting.
Dio mio. A drop of Paolo's blood splashed into the molten metal. It is an evil omen.
Your attention, please, worshipful elders of our fair town. We are gathered here to sit in judgment upon one Banadonna architect who has been accused of slaying one Paolo artisan. You have heard the testimony of the eyewitnesses. Now I will call the defendant to state his case. Signor Banadonna, what have you to say in your defense?
If it please your honor, would you clear the court of all spectators and witnesses for the deceased?
Very well. Clear the court.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now, Signor Bonadonna, is it or is it not true that you killed Paolo, the artisan, with a blow of a heavy utensil known as a ladle, which is used for pouring molten metal?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Then you plead guilty.
Oh, no, Your Honor. I would not do anything like that to harm your interests.
Eh? How would your pleading guilty harm my interests?
The bell tower I'm building is a very costly monument, is it not?
Naturally. Our town is rich and we want nothing but the best.
But a half-completed tower would be the laughing stock of all Italy, isn't it so? Not to mention a waste of the money that has already been spent on it.
You have a point there.
Yes, I think that's right. I can imagine the scene 100 years from now. Visitors from some distant land are gazing at the topless monstrosity. Oh, how sad, one of them exclaims. This could have been the most beautiful bell tower in the whole wide world. Why was it never finished? Do you not know, asks another. The architect, the maestro Bonadonna, slew a meddlesome fool who got just what he deserved. But Bonadonna was hanged. The tower was never completed because nobody could duplicate the great architect's plans, and the art of designing monuments was set back for many centuries. Oh, what a pity, the first one laments. It's enough to wrench even a tyrant's heart.
Of course, justice must be done, Signor Bonadonna.
Justice has been done. Paolo would have worked his fellow idiots into a superstitious rage, and all the money you have invested in the tower would have gone for naught.
Yes, Signor Bonadonna. Yes. We, the elders, and I have the sacred duty of handling our neighbor's money. Therefore, it is my opinion that you acted wisely and in the best interest of the town by quelling the threatened revolt. Do you agree, venerable colleague?
I agree. I think it...
Then, Signor Bonadonna, we absolve you of all guilt in the death of one Paolo Artisan.
Thank you, gentlemen. I knew you would not allow justice to be undone. And now I shall return to my work on the bell tower, which I will force to completion as speedily as possible. Addio. Well, my faithful friends, the great Bonadonna is free. Why is it that some of you do not look properly joyful?
You are free now, you tool of Satan. But Paolo will have his revenge from the grave. And soon.
That drop of blood that splashed into the molten casting of the bell when Bonadonna killed Paolo, everyone said was an omen from beyond. An omen that poor dead Paolo would take vengeance on Bonadonna for his murder. Yet, nothing seemed to happen. But the day finally arrived when the bell was to be swung up to the top of the tower. And then, at last, the workmen felt that Bonadonna's time on earth was drawing to an end.
Oh, what a beauty. The biggest and most exquisite bell that ever was made. Oh, but wait. What is this? A flaw at the nape of my beautiful bell. Oh, I will soon have this fault fixed. Just chip out the weak metal, scrape away the rough edges, and fill it in with this secret formula of mine. There is good as new. All right, everybody. We're ready to swing the bell into position. Grab the rope. Ready now. Pull. Easy now. Easy. That's it. Down a bit. All right, there you are. There. The bell is in place. Now, what have you to say, you ignorant jackanapes? You thought you could teach Bernardone something about architecture, huh? Well, this bell tower will outlast you and your entire line of descendants. Perhaps it will outlast time itself. And now I start on a mechanism to strike the bell on the hours. If my tower is the wonder of Italy, my mechanical ringer will be the wonder of the world.
I'm coming. The idea of waking up a man of my position at this time of night. Well, what is it?
Your pardon, Your Honor. Forgive us for waking you so late at night.
Yes, but it was necessary, Your Honor. It's urgent.
Hey? Oh, you're two of the men who worked on the bell tower, aren't you?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes.
Well, what's wrong? Has an accident befallen Signor Bonadonna?
No, Your Honor, not yet.
That mechanism he is perfecting to strike the hours. He's working secretly on it at the top of the tower.
Everything he needs is brought to the bottom, carefully wrapped up. He opens the door and takes the packages. He permits nobody to see what he's doing.
I find nothing wrong with that. There are men who would sell their souls to learn Bonadonna's secrets.
Perhaps that is how he obtained those secrets, by selling his own soul.
Hey, what's that? Are you bringing a formal charge of witchcraft against Signor Bonadonna?
Oh, no, you're quiet, Cesare. No, Your Honor. We have told you that everything is brought to the bottom of the tower for Signor Bonadonna. That was a mistake. There was one thing he went out and got himself.
Yes.
It was an object the size and shape of a man, wrapped round and round with a white cloth.
If one were to dig up poor dead Paolo from his grave, Your Honor, and carry him furtively to the tower late at night, still clad in his shroud, that is the sort of parcel one would carry, the sort we just saw Signor Bonadonna carrying.
A corpse, an automatic ringing mechanism, and utter secrecy. There is a sinister logic about the combination. There's only one way to be certain.
Yes, Your Honor. That is why we brought these shovels along with us. Careful, Chester.
Hurry, Enrico! Cesar!
Yes, Your Honor, yes.
This confounded night air was always hard on my arthritis. And here in this deserted graveyard, it seems still worse.
We're almost out of the coffin, Your Honor. I've struck it.
Good. Now, make haste.
Come, scrape away. All right, Chester. The top of the coffin is cleared. Now give me a hand in opening it.
Right.
Easy. There.
But Paolo's body is still there.
Paolo is still here, Your Honor. But Signor Bonadonna could be using another dead body for his automatic mechanism.
You are right, Cesar. I will speak to Signor Bonadonna the very first thing in the morning. I heard something very disturbing yesterday. You, Signor Bonadonna, are reputed to be making your secret ringing mechanism out of a...
Yes?
Out of a corpse.
I see. One brought back to life, of course, enslaved by my wizardry to strike the hours forevermore, huh? Naturally, you have a certain measure of proof, Your Honor.
Oh, yes. You were seen carrying what appeared to be a body wrapped in a shroud. It was late at night, and you were hurrying toward the tower as if wishing not to be observed.
It is my inflexible practice never to display my inventions until they can safely be shown. That time will come when the tower is thrown open to the public.
Well, when will that be, Signor?
Tomorrow at noon, Your Honor. And you will see that you and your precious townspeople are the worst pack of meddling fools that ever handicapped a genius. Now, if you will excuse me, I shall return to my work.
What a strange man. I was so sure of myself. Well, we will know tomorrow if the rumors are true. I can't understand what is delaying Bonadonna. The bell was to ring at the stroke of noon.
It is noon now, Your Honor.
I know, Cesare. That's what puzzles me. Signor Bonadonna is usually a man of his word.
Maybe he found it necessary to make some very sudden changes, Your Honor.
Yes, that could very well be. Well, we shall soon find out. I'll hail him. Signor Bonadonna! Oh, Signor Bonadonna! He doesn't answer.
Naturally. He is probably much too busy.
Well, we won't give him any more time to destroy the evidence. If we can prove a sorcery charge, we won't have to pay him a button. Open the door.
It's locked.
Then break it down. All right, men, follow me.
No sign of him here in the lookout room. I'll see if he's in the clock room.
What a climb. 300 feet straight up into the air.
Your Honor, come here.
What is it, Enrico?
There, Your Honor. Against the bell.
It's Signor Bonadonna. Dead.
With his head bashed in just like poor Paolo.
Serves him right if someone murdered him.
But this was not murder, gentlemen. See? He was working on the bell with mallet and chisel. Evidently, he had not turned off the clockwork. And the heavy hammer of the automatic bell ringer swung round with tremendous power and crushed his head against the bell.
Then the bell ringer is what we thought it was.
No, Cesare. It is no reanimated corpse.
Then what?
It is an amazingly intricate bit of machinery. More ingeniously wrought than any I have ever seen.
And so Signor Bonadonna was not a tool of the devil. He was a genius, the greatest genius of our time.
Then by whose vengeance did he die?
Perhaps we will never know.
From the dust he came, and to the dust he returns. Peace to your ashes, Bonadonna. The world of men is poorer for your passing. Has Enrico reached the top of the tower yet, Cesare?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then give him the signal.
All right, Enrico!
What's wrong?
The bell is gone loose! We're going to get the whole tower! It's collapsing! Out!
It landed directly on Bonadonna's coffin.
And drove him so far into the ground, we won't have the expense of the funeral after all.
But is it... Yes, Your Honor, just as we thought.
What are you jabbering about?
The bell, Your Honor. There was a flaw in it where poor Paolo's blood splashed into the molten metal as it was being cast. Signor Bonadonna thought he repaired the flaw, but he hadn't.
Hey! And what has that got to do with this calamity?
It was right there, Your Honor, that Bonadonna's famous bell cracked. And Paolo has taken his vengeance from the grave.
From the time-worn pages of the past, we have brought you the Bell Tower. Bell keeper, toll the bell.
Our next broadcast was one of the premier drama programs of the golden age of radio and was subtitled Radio's Outstanding Theater of Thrills and focused on suspense thriller type scripts, usually featuring leading Hollywood actors of the era. Approximately 945 episodes were broadcast during its long run, and more than 900 still exist. The protagonist was usually a normal person, suddenly dropped into a threatening or bizarre situation. Solutions were withheld until the last possible second, and evildoers were usually punished by the end. We present to you Suspense on HOJO Radio.
Suspense. This is the Man in Black, here again to introduce Columbia's program, Suspense. Our distinguished stars tonight are two of the world's acknowledged masters of the art of suspense. They are Mr. Charles Lawton and Miss Elsa Lanchester. Mr. Lawton, who will soon be seen in the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer picture, The Man from Down Under, is here to play a remarkable character created by England's noted thriller author, Agatha Christie. A mild-mannered character whose initials were ABC, and about whom revolved a series of savage murders, all neatly and alphabetically arranged. ABC was stamped upon all his belongings, those being his rightful initials. And ABC was stamped, too, upon the large railway timetable he always carried. But there was nothing so odd about that detail, since no traveler in the British Isles would dream of planning a journey without consulting this famous railway schedule, the ABC. And so, with the ABC Murders by Agatha Christie, written for radio by Robert Tallman and William Spear, and with the performance of Charles Lawton, we again hope to keep you in suspense. When the time for closing bell rang in the public library, Alexander Bonaparte Cust started, picked up his battered briefcase with the almost faded initials ABC, closed the book he had been reading, and shuffled over to the librarian's desk.
It's a most interesting book, librarian. I should like to come back sometime and read another chapter of it, if I may.
Quite. Yes, Mr. Clark. Can I help you, sir?
No hurry.
Well, I'll be going along now. Thank you.
Rum little chap, that. What do you think he was reading? Studies in epileptic somnambulism.
Medical stuff, eh? Oh, I say, the little fellow left his briefcase. I'll catch him at the door. I say, sir, just a moment. You left something.
Oh, dear, it's my briefcase. I'm terribly sorry. I seem to be getting more and more forgetful lately. Why, only the other day I left it on the counter in a tobacco shop.
Lucky you have those initials. Not many people with the initials ABC sticks in your mind.
What do you mean by that, sir?
Well, after all, they're the first three letters of the alphabet. Practically the first thing we learn, you know, isn't it? Our ABCs.
Don't mention those letters to me. They brought bad luck to me in more ways than one.
Really? How's that?
Well, I used to be a travelling salesman, and I used to carry one of those railway timetables in my pocket, the threepenny kind, in which they list the towns and all the railroads alphabetically.
Oh, of course. Printed right on the cover, isn't it?
Hey.
ABC.
Yes, that's right, sir. Well, stockings was my line, sir. I did door-to-door selling. Whenever I finished one town, out would come that timetable, and I'd look up the next stop on my route. I got sick of the sight of that ABC railway guide, I can tell you, sir. It was like a symbol of failure to me. One dingy little town after another, and all listed in that railway guide with ABC printed on the cover. My own initials staring out at me from every newsstand and every dirty little railroad station in the Midlands.
Oh, come on. It couldn't have been as bad as all that.
Matter of fact, I never noticed it till I began to get the headaches.
Oh, you suffer from headaches?
Yes.
Have you seen a doctor about it?
Oh, no. I wouldn't want to see a doctor about it. I already know what brings them on.
Well, if you'd rather not talk about it...
Oh, no, it isn't that at all, sir. It was just such a long time ago. During the last war, in fact, Chateau Theory.
Chateau Thierry? I say, what a coincidence. I was in the thick of that myself.
Well,
yes, we must get together for a drink one day, to talk over old times. Franklin Clark is my name.
Oh, I'm pleased to meet you, Mr. Clark. My name's Cust. Alexander Bonaparte Cust.
Well, they must have expected great things of you, giving you a name like that.
I'm afraid they did, Mr. Clark, yes. I'm very much afraid they did.
Mr. Cust. Oh, Mr. Cust.
Who is it?
It's me, Mr. Cust. I've brought you up a spot of tea.
Oh, it's you, Miss Marbury. That was very thoughtful of you.
Oh, nonsense. You know Mother dotes on you. You're her favourite lodger. In fact, why, Mr. Cust, You're packing your things. You're not leaving us, are you?
Oh, no, I'm just taking a little trip over the bank holiday, you know.
Now, don't try to deceive me, Mr. Cast. You're embarrassed. About owing us, aren't you?
No.
You needn't be, Mr. Cast. Really, you needn't.
Oh, you are a nice girl, Miss Marbury. You really are a nice girl. As a matter of fact, I'm not going just for the bank holiday. I've something rather important, some very important matters to take care of. You know, it's very possible that my mother didn't have me christened Alexander Bonaparte. Cast for nothing.
Oh, have you got a position, Mr. Cast?
Well...
What is it?
Well...
Oh, come, Mr. Cast. You can tell me, can't you?
Well, Miss Lily, I can tell you this much. I shall be travelling quite a lot. In fact, where did I leave that ABC Railroad guide? Oh, yes, here it is. First stop, Andover.
Andover? That's not very far.
No, but I must be getting on if I don't want to miss that train. Now, let me see. Have I got everything? There's my spectacles and my overcoat, my typewriter, my walking stick. Did I ever tell you the history of this walking stick, Miss Marbury? It's a Scottish piece, very old. It's always it's antique. You know, they used to kill people with these back in the days of the old clan wars in Scotland. I wonder how many heads this one has bashed in.
Oh, Mr. Cast. Oh, please, what a terrible way to talk.
Yes, I'm sorry, Miss Marbury. I am a little bit surprised at myself talking like that. It must be my new job. It's gone to my head a bit. That's it. It's gone to me head. Have you got an aspirin by any chance? I've got an all.
Yes, gentlemen. What'll it be?
Packet of goldflakes for me.
Yes, sir. And the other gentleman?
3 Havanas, the shilling cigars.
Havanas? You gentlemen must be up from London.
That's right. Is that your name on the window of this shop?
That's right, sir. Olivia Asher. Been in business right here in Andover and right here in St. Andrew's Place for 20 years.
All A's. Andover, St. Andrew's Place, and Asher.
Funny, ain't it? Never so much as crossed my mind before.
Well, Mrs. Asher, we're from Scotland Yard. We have reason to believe there may be a homicidal maniac at large in Andover.
God, blimey.
We don't want to frighten you, Mrs. Asher. For all we know, this may be just a practical joke. You see, we received an anonymous letter, typewritten, and signed ABC.
ABC?
This murderer, if there's anything in his story, is planning a series of murders. His mania seems to be centered on the alphabet. If he follows his plan through, his first murder will be committed in Andover, and the victim will be a person whose name begins with an A.
The Lord help me, sir. You don't think...
We don't think anything. Scotland Yard has taken its precautions.
Oh, a woman takes a terrible chance.
There's probably nothing to be alarmed about, but it won't hurt to keep a sharp lookout. Who's next on your list, Mackenzie? Next is Arthur Atwood. All right. Let's be on our way, then. Good day, madam. Don't worry.
Thank you, sir. And good day to you, sir. A murdering lunatic in Andover, of all places. Yes, sir. What'll it be for you, sir? These? That'll be 1 and 6, sir. I said that'll be... Oh, no!
6:30 newspaper, sensation, homicidal maniac in Andover, alphabet murderer destroyed next at Bexhill, latest on ABC.
Oh, boy, let me have one of those.
Oh, yes,
will
a
you?
news standard, sir.
Both. Here you are.
Oh, thank you, sir. 6:30 newspaper, sensation.
Nasty business, eh, mister?
Oh, yes, very, very.
You never know with lunatics. They don't always look bomber, you know. Sometimes they look the same as you on me.
Eh? Yes, I suppose they do.
Oh, it's a fact. Sometimes it's the war unhinged them. Never been right since.
Yes, I expect you're right.
You know, I don't hold with wars. I hope this will be the last.
You don't hold with wars, eh? Well, young man, I don't hold with plague and sleeping sickness and famine and cancer, but they happen all the same. And murder happens all the same. They can't prevent them.
Well, I'm sorry, sir. I expect you had a rocky time of it in the last one, eh?
Yes, my poor head's never been the same since. I get terrible headaches.
Oh? Well, I'm sorry about that, sir.
Sometimes I hardly know what I'm doing.
You don't say.
I forget things. You know, for instance, I could have sworn I had an ABC railway guide in my pocket an hour ago.
Do you know they found one of them ABC railway guides on the poor tobacconist lady that he murdered?
Who?
Him. ABC, whoever he is. Maybe he don't know himself. Ever stop to think of that? Maybe he's so bum he don't remember.
I wonder. Bexhill, did he say Bexhill? That's my train. Well, goodbye, young man.
Goodbye.
6:30 newspaper, sensation on his police Trojan typewriter on which murder notes were written to strike at Bexhill, latest on ABC Alphabet
May I have your order, sir?
Well, I don't think I'll have the ham. I had ham for breakfast. Yes, I think I'll have the mutton pie.
One mutton pie. Yes, sir.
What's the matter with you? You're trembling, young woman. Is something wrong?
Oh, sir, if you only knew. I have to walk home tonight after they close up here. And there ain't hardly a light in Benson Terrace where I live.
Benson Terrace in Bexhill?
Yes, sir.
You're afraid of the ABC murderer, aren't you?
He follows the alphabet, don't he? That was the way he done in Andover.
Hey, and does your name begin with a B?
Barnard's my name. Mary Barnard.
Oh, dear me, Miss Barnard. Well, I don't like to appear forward. Well, anyway, I'm old enough to be your father. Would it make you feel easier if I saw you home tonight?
Oh, you don't know, sir. You just don't know what it would mean.
Oh, well, what time do they close up here?
9 o'clock.
All right, I'll wait outside for you. At 9 o'clock?
All right.
Ladies, waitress brutally murdered in Bexhill. ABC strikes again. Here, sir, Scotland Yard received third murder note. Alphabet murderer to strike again in Chester.
Yes, sir?
Third class, single, to Cheston. Give me a pint of half and half, please.
Yes, sir. There you are, sir. You up from London, sir?
Yes, I come directly from London.
Ah, salesman?
Stockings is my line.
Rough going these days, what with rationing, eh?
Well. It isn't my old friend Alexander Bonaparte Cuss.
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't remember.
We met in the library, remember?
Oh.
In London. Yes, had quite a talk.
Yeah.
Franklin Clark, remember?
Yes, of course. You'll forgive me, Mr. Clark. My memory, it seems to be getting worse and worse.
But you must have come under better times, Mr. Cuss. New briefcase, I see. Nice, bright, new initials?
Well, I got a job shortly after I saw you, Mr. Clark, from Ballinger Limited. Stockings. It's my old line, you know. But to tell you the truth, I haven't been doing very well.
Oh, those headaches again?
Yes, the headaches. And the murders. The murders have upset me something terrible.
Oh, why, you're shaking like a leaf, man.
No.
Hey, Jonathan, a brandy for Mr. Cust. He
Thank
needs
you,
it.
sir.
The trouble with you, Cust, is you're inclined to be morbid. I remember that book you were reading the day we met, stuff about epilepsy.
Well, it might be epilepsy, mightn't it?
What?
Well, they discharged me from the army before the war ended. You see, I had a kind of a fit, you know. And
Never had anything like it again, have you?
No, I didn't have a fit again, just the headaches. I forget what happens, hours at a time. Do you know, once I was sitting in a station waiting room and a newsboy came by and I bought a paper from him, and it was all about that first murder in Andover.
Huh.
It said the police had got another note, another typewritten note, Mr. Clark, and the murderer was going to strike next in Bexhill. And suddenly I realized I was in Bexhill. And I'd been in Andover the day before when the first murder happened.
Well, how did you happen to go from Andover to Bexhill?
Well, that's the way I'm supposed to go on my route, selling the stockings. I'm supposed to take the towns alphabetically.
Oh, well, then it's not so surprising you should have been in Bexhill after all, is it? Just a coincidence.
Well, the waitress in Bexhill there, I walked home with her that night, Mr. Clark, the night she was murdered.
Oh, good heavens, Cusk, you don't think you killed Mary Barnard, do you?
I don't know, Mr. Clark. It said in that book that people who have had epileptic fits often do things and don't remember them. They even commit crimes. I said good night to her, and after that, I don't know what happened.
The notes, those typewritten notes. Wouldn't you have remembered if you'd written them?
I don't know.
Well, now, I know a little something about psychology myself, Cust. And I'd stake everything I own on the fact that the man who wrote those notes was conscious of what he was doing.
Do you really think so, Mr. Clark?
Positive of it. Now, pull yourself together, man. Incidentally, my sister-in-law lives here in Churston. My brother is Lord Cameron Clark, and I happen to know she needs some new stockings.
Oh.
Pop over there in the morning, will you, and show the old girl your line?
Oh.
Here's the address. Might cheer you up to make a good sale.
Oh, I'm sure it would, Mr. Clark. I'm sure it would. Well, good night, Mr. Clark, and thank you again for all your kindness,
Good
I'm
night.
sure, sir.
Good night. Oh, wait a minute. You've forgotten something again.
Oh, dear me, that's my typewriter. I shall certainly need that.
Oh?
Well, it's to type up my report to the Home Office in case I should make that sale tomorrow.
Oh, of course. Oh, yes. By the way, Cust, better watch out.
Somebody in Cheston is going to be murdered tomorrow.
Aye.
Old ABC is up to the letter C, you know, and your name is Cuss.
Oh, I say, good heavens. Mine is Clark.
Well, thank you again for your generous order, Lady Clark. I hope you'll be pleased. This line of woolen line of stockings is one of Ballinger's best buys right now, Lady Clark.
My brother-in-law told me that you'd had some unfortunate times lately, Mr. Cuss.
Yes.
But I really did need the stockings, and I should
Hello
be so
again, Cuss.
Hello,
I've
sir.
been stuffing myself with bacon and eggs. Make a sale, old boy?
Oh, yes, Mr. Clark. Thank you very much.
Good, good. Louise is filthy with money, and her ladyship's legs are in constant need of recovering.
Oh, I wouldn't say that,
Yes,
sir.
really. She wanted the stockings.
Well, thank you very much, my lady. I hope I shall have the privilege of serving you again next year.
Goodbye, Mr. Cust, and good luck.
Cheerio, Cuss.
Such a nice little man, Franklin.
He's a bit off his nut, I'm afraid. Last night he tried to convince me that he was the ABC murderer. His initials, you know. He has minor lapses of memory.
That little man a murderer? Oh, really, Franklin?
Good Lord, what was that?
Tell the maid. Where's that girl? What's going on?
In the master's bedroom, milady. You better go with her, Mr. Franklin.
Brothers, whatever are you doing here? Oh, my lady, the master, Lord Clark, has been murdered. Stabbed with a knife. He's all over blood.
Murder?
Oh.
Good heavens. Why, look there on the floor. A railway guide and ABC.
Take me out of here, Franklin.
Oh, Louise, I'm sorry you had to see this.
Oh, Cameron. My poor Cameron. Who never made an enemy in his life.
The man who did this was a maniac. And I'm afraid I know who he is. He always carried a walking stick with a heavy carved handle. That's how the other murders were committed, with a heavy stick. But he wasn't carrying his stick today. Must have grabbed a knife up there somewhere to kill Cameron with. But when? Were you with him every minute?
Well, I went upstairs to get my checkbook. It took me a little while to find it.
That gave Cust his opening.
Oh, to think that all that time. Oh, no. No, I'll never forgive myself,
No,
Franklin.
none of that now, Louise. The important thing now is to stop him before he can commit another murder.
But what are you going to do, Franklin?
I'm going to the police and see if they'll let me help. Let's have a look at this ABC railway guide he left beside Fort Cameron. Look here. All checked. See there? Andover, Bexhill, Churston. Each with a check mark after it.
No.
Oh, where's the next one? See? See London. He's through with ABC, he's gone home, and I'm going after him.
Yes? Well, Mr. Cust, come in. Whatever kept you away so long?
Miss Lily, I've got to talk to you alone.
Oh, well, I'll go up with you. I want to show you the new curtains I put up in your room anyway.
Oh, you are a nice girl, Miss Lily, really are
Yeah,
a nice
let me
girl.
carry one of these, Mr. Cust, the typewriter.
No, I'll carry my own things, thank you.
Oh, Mr. Cust, you're trembling. Oh, dear, you do look a fright. Look, I'm going to straight and get you a hot foot bath.
No, not now, please. Not now, Miss Lily. There's no time for it.
What is it, Mr. Cust?
Close the door and lock it.
Are you in some trouble, Mr. Cust?
I'm in terrible trouble, Miss Lily. I want you to hear the story first from me. You're the only one who has ever been my friend. Oh, I've had a lonely life, Miss Lily.
Oh, poor Mr. Cust.
Poor Mr. Cust. That's what they always say about me. Poor Mr. Cust. I thought you were
Now,
different.
don't take on so, Mr. Cust. It was only a manner
Oh,
of speaking.
you don't need to worry. I'm all right now. I never get two spells in one day.
Spells? Mr. Cust, I don't understand. What
Well,
do
you heard of the ABC murders?
Shocking affairs. But, Mr. Cust, why are
Miss
you
Lily,
saying
the
to...
police will be here at any minute. Please let me finish. I don't want you to think harshly of me, Miss Lily. I didn't plan it ahead. My instructions told me where to go. Some people can't help what they do. There are diseases. Epilepsy, for instance. You do things you don't remember. You commit crimes. I'm like that.
Oh, Mr. Cust, I can't believe it.
When I was a child, Miss Lily, they used to badger me about my name. My mother worshipped strength. She named me after the strongest people she knew about in history. Alexander and Bonaparte. But nobody ever called me by those names. They called me ABC. ABC. I used to dream I was boiling in a kettle of alphabet soup. I was a terrible disappointment to my mother.
Mr. Cust, you're unsettled and tired.
You've got to hear me out, Miss Lily.
Oh,
Now listen to me, Miss Lily. I could have been a hero once in the army in the last war. I was happy. I could have made something of myself. Then I started getting the headache. You must hear me out, Miss Lily. I started forgetting things after they discharged me from the army. Shock, they called it. I used to have dreams. I was a great ruler. The destiny of men was in my hands. I had the power over them of life and death.
Let me go. Oh, please let me go.
First, there was Andover, that tobacconist. I can't even remember what she looked like. Then there was Bexhill. I walked home with a waitress from the station restaurant. She was murdered, too. In Cheston, I sold a dozen pair of stockings to a lady, and while she was upstairs getting her checkbook, her husband was murdered on the floor where I was waiting. And now I've come back here. Maybe the alphabet charm is over. Or is it? This is London. L. Your name is Lily.
Are you trying to frighten me, Mr. Cust?
I am trying to convince you.
You, murderer? I'd as soon believe it as my own mother.
What about this? Look at it.
Oh, no.
Look closely at it. I found it in my briefcase when I came on the train, Miss Lily. This knife murdered a man in Churston just 3 hours ago.
Oh, now, there, Miss Marbury. Don't take on so. He's all end got pretty as you please in the next room.
But he was such a nice man. I still can't hardly believe it.
Is this the knife he threatened you with, Miss Marbury?
Yes.
We just got here in the nick of time, eh, Crum? Hey, that's a wicked-looking knife.
It's the Churston murder knife, right enough, Mr. Clark. No doubt of it.
Well, let's take inventory. Typewriter.
Checks with the murder notes.
Walking stick.
Same markings as on the heads of the first victims.
And the psychiatrist's report says the murders were premeditated and the notes could not possibly have been written except by a person who was conscious and in his right mind.
Well, that breaks down any idea Cust may have had of entering an insanity plea.
Right. I think he'll sign the confession without any difficulty. Bring him in.
Bring the prisoner in.
Well, Cust, are you ready to sign your confession?
I don't know, Inspector. A moment ago I was certain I must have done it. But why? That's what worries me. Why? Mr. Clark, why do you think I did it?
You're wasting valuable time, Cust. I don't care why you did it. You killed my brother, and I want to see you hang for it. I don't care how balmy you are.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, talking to our Mr. Cust in that bloodthirsty manner. I don't know what's getting into the gentry, I'm sure.
He tried to murder you, didn't he?
Well, he couldn't help himself, poor thing. He's been terribly upset of late.
You are a nice girl, Miss Lily. You are a nice girl, really.
The murders were willful and premeditated.
They couldn't have been premeditated, Mr. Clark.
Why do you say that, Cust?
Well, because I didn't go to any of those places of my own choice. I had my instructions from Bellinger's Limited. And those instructions were sent to me after the police got the warnings of the murders that were printed in the papers.
There never were any such instructions. We ransacked all your things, Cust. There wasn't any letter of instructions, was there, Inspector?
No.
Oh, yes, there was.
All right, we'll ring up Ballinger's. May I use your telephone, Miss Marbury?
Why, certainly, Inspector.
The number is Regent 3313, Inspector. Oh.
Ballinger's, are you there? Put me on to personnel. Oh, Mac, start packing those exhibits, will you?
All right, sir.
Crome speaking, Scotland Yard. At what date did you employ a commercial traveler named Alexander Bonaparte Cust? No, Cust. A.B. Cust. Initials ABC. Yes? Never employed by you. You're absolutely certain? Did you send a man to Andover or Bexhill last week? Not on your route. Thank you. That's all I wanted to know.
Too bad, Cust. I guess this knocks out your last ghost of a chance, doesn't it?
No, Mr. Clark. Because, you see, the instructions were in a letter, and that letter is right in this room.
Well, let's have a look. Come on, Mackenzie. Give me a hand. Let's go through these things again.
It won't do you any good to look there, Mr. Clark. I have the letter. Would you like to see it, Mr. Crome? It's here.
Well, I'll be... Where did you get that?
It wasn't on him, Inspector. I'll swear to that. Where did you have this hidden?
Well, Inspector, it isn't generally known, but I do wear a small hairpiece. Not out of vanity, mind you. I find it necessary for the business.
Let's see that letter.
Oh, gladly.
Dear Mr. Cust, enclosed find advance. Typewriter is being posted today. You will...
What a lot of nonsense, Inspector. Look at the typeface of that letter. It's obviously written on Cust's typewriter.
Yes, that's right, Mr. Clark. And the man who wrote that letter was the murderer. Cool as you like, he sent the typewriter to me and instructions on one of Ballinger's letterheads and the money and everything else.
What kind of stunt are you trying to pull here, Cust?
No stunt. It's just that when you made that telephone call, Inspector, and Ballinger said I'd never worked for them, I knew that the typewriter must have been sent to me by the murderer. And the more I thought about it, the more it seemed to me that the murderer must be Mr. Clark.
What? Why, this is too utterly fantastic, Inspector. Really,
the murderer would have to know something about me. Something I'd never confided to anyone but to Mr. Clark about my headaches. I'd been reading a book in the public library, Inspector, a book on epilepsy, and it seemed to me that what I suffered during the last war might have been epilepsy. And it was on my mind, see? It said that epileptics might commit crimes and not remember them under certain conditions. Without that to go on, the murderer couldn't possibly have pinned the crime on me.
That works two ways, Cust. You might have told me that story deliberately, just so you could cook up this story now.
Well, I couldn't cook up your fingerprints, Mr. Clark. And I'll wager anything. Your fingerprints are on that letter.
Oh, come now, really.
Well, that's easily settled. We can do it right here. Won't take a moment. Take a set of Mr. Clark's fingerprints, Mackenzie. You examine the prints in the letter meantime.
Right, Inspector. Just press your fingers down firmly on this ink pad, Mr. Clark. What is it, Mr. Clark? It's quite simple, really.
Yes, it's so simple it isn't even necessary.
I'm afraid this is necessary, Mr. Clark. Only a matter of routine, you know.
But I tell you it isn't necessary because Cust is right. I am the murderer.
You? But wait, then you killed your brother Cameron Clark so that you would inherit the estate?
Yes, exactly.
But the others, the A and B murders in Andover and Bexhill and...
I committed them, all of them.
Yes, but...
Come now, gentlemen, surely you'll give me credit for thinking this thing through. If only my brother Lord Clark had been murdered, I, being the only heir, would have had a lot of explaining to do. So I invented my own little crime wave to make it appear as though he were just one of the victims of a homicidal maniac. And I must say, it almost came off, thanks to the unknowing cooperation of Mr. Cust here. Thank you just the same, Mr. Cust.
You're very welcome.
Oh, Mr. Cuss, I knew you couldn't be a murderer, not really.
Oh, you are a nice girl, Miss Lily. Really, you are
About
a
those
nice
headaches,
girl.
Mr. Cuss, why don't you go to an oculist? Those headaches, maybe you just need a new pair of glasses.
I think I'll do that, Miss Lily. Good. Do you really think? Of course, I'll wager that's what's been the trouble with me all along.
You know, you need someone to take care of you.
Oh, I do, Miss Lily. I do, really. If only you... Oh, but no, you couldn't ever think
What, Mr. Cuss?
Well, I mean, Miss Lily, I was just thinking it'd be really too much to ask anyone. Mrs. Alexander Bonaparte Cuss.
But when we're married, please don't wear that toupee. It's very conspicuous.
Oh, you are a nice girl, Miss Lily. Really, you are. I do hope people won't call you Mrs. ABC.
And so closes the ABC Murders, starring Charles Lawton with Elsa Lanchester and Bramwell Fletcher. Tonight's tale of suspense. This is your narrator, the Man in Black, who conveys to you Columbia's invitation to spend this half hour in suspense with us again next Tuesday, when Agnes Moorehead will return to our stage as star of the suspense play called She Overheard Murder Speaking. Producer of these broadcasts is William Spear, who with Ted Bliss, the director, Lud Gluskin and Lucian Mahowick, conductor and composer, and Robert Tolman, the radio author, collaborated on tonight's Suspense.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
HOJO Radio, where the classics come alive.
Suspense.
This is the Man in Black, here again to introduce Columbia's program, Suspense. Our star tonight is one of the most compelling actresses in America today, Miss Agnes Moorehead. Miss Moorehead returns to our stage to appear in a new study in terror by Lucille Fletcher, called Sorry, Wrong Number. This story of a woman who accidentally overheard a conversation with death and who strove frantically to prevent murder from claiming an innocent victim is tonight's tale of suspense. If you have been with us on these Tuesday nights, you will know that suspense is compounded of mystery and suspicion and dangerous adventure. In this series are tales calculated to intrigue you, to stir your nerves, to offer you a precarious situation, and then withhold the solution until the last possible moment. And so it is with Sorry, Wrong Number and the performance of Agnes Moorehead. We again hope to keep you in suspense.
Oh, dear.
Your call, please.
Operator, I've been dialing Murray Hill 70093 now for the last 3/4 of an hour, and the line is always busy. I don't see how it could be busy that long. Will you try it for me, please?
I'll be glad to try that number for you. One moment, please.
I don't see how it could be busy all this time. It's my husband's office. He's working late tonight, and I'm all alone here in the house. My health is very poor, and I've been feeling so nervous all day.
Ringing Murray Hill 70093.
Hello?
Hello? Hello? Is Mr. Stevenson there?
Hello? Hello? Oh, hello, George.
Yes, sir. This is George speaking.
Hello? Who's this? What number am I calling, please?
I'm here with our client now. He says the coast is clear for tonight.
Yes, sir.
Where are you now?
In a phone booth. But don't worry. Everything's okay.
Very well. Now, you know the address. At 11 o'clock, the private patrolman goes around to the bar on 2nd Avenue for a beer. Be sure that all the lights downstairs are on, eh? There should be only one light visible from the street. At 11:15, a train crosses the bridge. It makes a noise in case her window is open and she should scream.
Oh, hello. What number is this, please?
Okay. I understand.
Now make it quick. As little blood as possible, eh? Our client does not wish to make her suffer long.
Will a knife be okay, sir?
Yeah, a knife will be okay. And do you remember the other detail?
Yeah, I know. Remove the rings and bracelets and the jewelry in the bureau drawer.
That's right. Our client wishes it to look like simple robbery.
Now, don't worry. Everything is going to be okay.
All right, then. Be sure that...
Oh, how awful. How unspeakably awful. Oh.
Your call, please.
Operator, I've just been cut off.
I'm sorry. What number were you calling?
Why, it was supposed to be Murray Hill 70093, but it wasn't. Some wires must have got crossed. I was cut into a wrong number, and I've just heard the most dreadful thing. Something about a murder. And, operator, you'll simply have to retrace that call at once.
I beg your pardon. May I help you?
Oh, I know it was a wrong number, and I had no business listening, but these two men, they were cold-blooded fiends, and they were going to murder somebody, some poor innocent woman who was all alone in a house near a bridge, and we've got to stop them. We've got to.
What number were you calling, please?
Well, that doesn't matter. This was a wrong number, and you dialed it for me, and we've got to find out what it was immediately.
What number did you call?
Oh, why are you so stupid? What time is it? Do you mean to tell me you can't find out what that number was just now?
I'll connect you with the chief operator.
Oh, I think it's perfectly shameful. Now, look, it was obviously a case of some little slip of the finger. I told you to try Murray Hill 70093 for me. You dialed it, but your finger must have slipped, and I was connected with some other number. And I could hear them, but they couldn't hear me. Now, I simply fail to see why you couldn't make that same mistake again, on purpose, why you couldn't try to dial Murray Hill 70093 in the same sort of careless way.
Murray Hill 70093. I will try to get it for you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Murray Hill 70093 is busy. I will call you in 20...
Operator. Operator, will you answer me?
Your call, please.
Well, you didn't try to get that wrong number at all. I asked you explicitly, and all you did was dial correctly.
I'm sorry. What number are you calling?
Oh, can't you for once forget what number I'm calling and do something for me? Now, I want to trace that call. It's my civic duty, it's your civic duty to trace that call and apprehend those dangerous killers. And if you won't...
I will connect you with the chief operator.
Please. Oh. Where's the answer?
This is the chief operator.
Chief operator, I want you to trace a call, a telephone call immediately. I don't know where it came from or who was making it, but it's absolutely necessary that it be tracked down because it was about a murder that someone's planning. A terrible, cold-blooded murder of a poor, innocent woman. Tonight at 11:15.
I see.
Well, can you trace it for me? Can you track down those men?
I'm not certain. It depends.
Depends on what?
It depends on whether the call is still going on. If it's a live call, we can trace it on the equipment. If it's been disconnected, we can't.
Disconnected?
If the parties have stopped talking to each other.
Oh, but of course they must have stopped talking to each other by now. That was at least 5 minutes ago, and they didn't sound like the type who would make a long call.
Well, I can try tracing it. May I have your name, please?
Mrs. Stevenson. Mrs. Elbert Stevenson. Now, but listen...
And your telephone number, please?
Oh, Plaza 42295. But if you go on wasting all this time...
Why do you want the call traced, please?
Why? Well... Oh, no reason. No reason. I mean, I merely felt very strongly that something ought to be done about it. These men sounded like killers. They're dangerous. They're going to murder this woman at 11:15 tonight, and I thought the police ought to know.
Have you reported this to the police?
Well, no, not yet.
You want this call checked purely as a private individual?
Yes, but meanwhile...
I'm sorry, Mrs. Stevenson, but I'm afraid we couldn't make this check for you and trace the call just in your say-so as a private individual.
Well,
we'd have to do something more official.
Oh, for heaven's sake. You mean to tell me I can't report that there's going to be a murder without getting tied up in all this red tape? Why, it's perfectly idiotic. Well, all right. I'll call the police.
Thank you. I'm sure that would be the best way to...
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's perfectly ridiculous. All this red tape. Oh.
Your call, please.
The police department. Get me the police department, please.
Thank you. Ringing the police department.
Day.
Police station, precinct 43, Sergeant Martin speaking.
Police department, this is Mrs. Stevenson, Mrs. Elbert Smythe Stevenson of 53 North Sutton Place. I'm calling up to report a murder. I mean, the murder hasn't been committed yet, but I just overheard plans for it over the telephone, over a wrong number that the operator gave me. I've been trying to trace down the call myself, but everybody is so stupid, and I guess in the end you're the only people who could do anything.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, it was a perfectly definite murder. I heard their plans distinctly. 2 men were talking, and they were going to murder some woman at 11:15 tonight. She lived in a house near a bridge. Are you listening to me?
Yes, ma'am.
And there was a private patrolman on the street. He was going to go around for a beer on 2nd Avenue, and there was some third man, a client, who was paying to have this poor woman murdered. They were going to take her rings and bracelets and use a knife. Well, it's unnerved me dreadfully, and I'm not well.
I see. When was all this, ma'am?
Well, about 8 minutes ago. Oh, then you can do something. You do understand.
What is your name, ma'am?
Mrs. Stevenson, Mrs. Elbert Stevenson.
And your address?
53 North Sutton Place. 53 North Sutton Place. That's near a bridge. The Queensboro Bridge, you know, and we have a private patrolman on our street, and 2nd Avenue...
And what was the number you were calling?
Murray Hill 70093. But that wasn't the number I overheard. I mean, Murray Hill 70093 is my husband's office. He's working late tonight, and I was trying to reach him to ask him to come home. I'm an invalid, you know, and it's the maid's night off, and I hate to be alone, even though he says I'm perfectly safe as long as I have the telephone right beside my bed.
Well, we'll look into it, Mrs. Stevenson. And we'll see if we can check it with the telephone company.
But the telephone company said they couldn't check the call if the parties had stopped talking. I've already taken care of that.
Oh, you have?
Yes, And personally, I feel you ought to do something far more immediate and drastic than just check the call. What good does checking the call do if they stop talking? By the time you track it down, they'll already have committed the murder.
Well, we'll take care of it, don't you worry.
Well, I'd say the whole thing calls for a search, a complete and thorough search of the whole city. Now, I'm very near the bridge, and I'm not far from 2nd Avenue, and I know I'd feel a lot better if you sent around a radio car to this neighborhood at once.
And what makes you think the murder's going to be committed in your neighborhood, ma'am?
Well, I don't know. Only the coincidence is so horrible. 2nd Avenue and patrolman and the bridge.
2nd Avenue is a very long street, ma'am.
I know it.
And you know how many bridges there are in the city of New York alone. Not to mention Brooklyn and Staten Island and Queens and the Bronx.
I know.
How do you know there isn't some little house out on Staten Island on some little 2nd Avenue you've never even heard about? How do you know they're even talking about New York at all?
But I heard the call on the New York dialing system.
Maybe it was a long-distance call you overheard. Telephones are funny things. Look, lady, why don't you look at it this way? Supposing you hadn't broken in on that telephone call. Supposing you'd got your husband the way you always do. You wouldn't be upset, would you?
No, I suppose not, only it sounded so inhuman, so cold-blooded.
Well, a lot of murders are plotted in this city every day, ma'am.
Well,
we manage to prevent most all of them, but a clue of this kind is so vague. Isn't much more use to us than no clue at all.
But surely you...
Unless, of course, you have some reason for thinking this call was phony, and that somebody may be planning to murder you.
Me? Oh, well, no, I hardly think so. Well, I mean, why should anybody? I'm alone all day and night. I see nobody except my maid, Eloise, and she's a big girl. She weighs 200 pounds. She's too lazy to bring up my breakfast tray. And the only other person is my husband, Albert. He's crazy about me. He just adores me. He waits on me hand and foot, has scarcely left my side since I took sick 12 years ago.
Well, and there's nothing for you to worry about.
But
now, if you'll just leave the rest of this to us, we'll take care of it.
What will you do? It's so late. It's nearly 11 now.
We'll take care of it, lady.
Well, will you broadcast it all over the city and send out squads and warn your radio cars to watch out, especially in suspicious neighborhoods like mine?
Lady, I said we'd take care of it. Just now, I've got a couple of other matters here on my desk that require immediate attention. Good night, ma'am, and thank you.
Oh, you idiot. Oh, now, why did I hang up the phone like that? Now he'll think I am a fool. Oh, why doesn't Albert come home? Why doesn't he? Oh.
Your call, please.
Operator, for heaven's sake, will you ring that Murray Hill 70093 number again? I can't think what's keeping him so long.
I will try it for you.
Well, try. Oh. So nervous. Why does it take so long?
I'm sorry. Murray Hill 70093 is busy. I will call you.
I can hear it. You don't have to tell me. I know it's busy. Oh, if I could only get out of this bed for a little while. If I could get a breath of fresh air, or just lean out of the window, or see the street. Hello, Albert? Hello? Oh, what's the matter with this phone? Hello? Oh, for heaven's sake, who is this? Hello? Oh, who's trying to... Oh. Oh, why did...
Your call, please.
Hello, operator. I don't know what's the matter with this telephone tonight, but it's positively driving me crazy. I've never seen such inefficient, miserable service. Now, look. I'm an invalid, and I'm very nervous, and I'm not supposed to be annoyed. But if this keeps on much longer...
What seems to be the trouble, please?
Well, everything's wrong. I haven't had one bit of satisfaction out of one call I've made this evening. The whole world could be murdered for all you people care. And now my phone keeps ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing every 5 seconds or so. And when I pick it up, there's no one there.
I'm sorry. If you will hang up, I will test it for you.
I don't want you to test it for me. I want you to put that call through, whatever it is, at once.
I'm afraid I cannot do that.
You can't, and why? Why, may I ask?
The dial system is automatic.
Oh.
If someone is trying to dial your number, there is no way to check whether the call is coming through the system or not.
Oh,
unless the person who is trying to reach you complains to his particular operator.
Well, of all this stupid... And meanwhile, I've got to sit here in my bed suffering every time that phone rings, imagining everything.
I will try to check the trouble for you.
Check it. That's all anybody can do. Oh, what's the use of talking to you? You're stupid. I'll fix her. Of all the impudence. Oh, how dare she speak to me like that? How dare she speak to me like that? Oh. She answered.
Your call, please.
Young woman, I don't know your name, but there are ways of finding you out. And I'm going to report you to your superiors for the most unpardonable rudeness and insolence it has ever been my privilege. Give me the business office at once.
You may dial that number direct.
Dial it direct? I'll do no such thing. I don't even know the number.
The number is in the directory, or you may secure it by dialing information.
Now listen here, you... Oh, what's the use? Oh, dear. Oh, for heaven's sake, I'm going out of my mind. Hello, stop ringing me, do you hear? Answer me, who is this? You realize you're driving me crazy? Who's calling me? What are you doing it for? Now stop it, I say. Hello, if you don't stop ringing me, I'm going to call the police, do you hear? The police! Oh, if Albert would only come home. Oh, let it ring. Let it go on ringing. It's a trick of some kind. And I won't answer it. I won't, even if it goes on ringing all night. Now, what's the matter? Why did they stop ringing all of a sudden? What time is it? Oh, where did I put that clock? 5 to 11. Oh, they've decided something. They're sure I'm home. They heard my voice answer them just now. That's why they've been ringing me. Why no one has answered me? Call that operator again. Oh, where is she? Why doesn't she answer? Oh, operator. Why doesn't she answer? Oh.
Your call, please.
Where were you just now? Why didn't you answer at once? Give me the police department.
I'm sorry. Just a minute.
Oh.
I'm sorry. The line is busy. I will call you.
Busy? But that's impossible. The police department can't be busy. There must be other lines available.
The line is busy.
Oh.
I will try to get them for you later.
No, I've got to speak to them now, or it may be too late. I've got to talk to someone.
What number do you wish to speak to?
I don't know, but there must be someone to protect people beside the police department. A detective agency.
You will find agencies listed in the classified directory.
But I don't have a classified directory. I mean, I'm too nervous to look it up.
I will connect you with information. Perhaps she will be able to help you.
No. Oh, you're being spiteful, aren't you? You don't care, do you, what happens to me? I could die and you wouldn't care. Oh, stop it! I can't stand anymore. Hello? What do you want? Stop ringing, will you? Stop it.
Hello? Is this Plaza 42295?
Yes, I'm sorry. This is Plaza 42295.
This is Western Union.
Yes.
I have a telegram here for Mrs. Albert Stevenson.
Yes.
Is there anyone there to receive the message?
Yes, I'm Mrs. Stevenson.
The telegram is as follows. Mrs. Albert Stevenson, 53 North Sutton Place, New York. Darling, terribly sorry. Tried to get you for last hour, but line busy.
Oh.
Leaving for Boston, 11 p.m. tonight on urgent business. Back tomorrow afternoon. Keep happy. Love, signed, Albert.
Oh, no.
Do you wish us to deliver a copy of the message?
No, thank you.
Thank you, madam. Good night.
Good night. Oh, no. I don't believe it. He couldn't do it. Not when he knows I'll be all alone. It's some trick. It's some trick. Some fiendish trick. I know. Oh, I'm so nervous. Oh, why doesn't she answer?
Your call, please.
Operator, try that Murray Hill 70093 number for me just once more, please.
You may dial that number direct.
Oh. Oh. 9, 3. Oh, he's gone. Oh, Albert, how could you? How could you? Oh, I can't be alone tonight. I can't. If I'm alone one more second, I'll go mad. I don't care what he says or what the expense is. I'm a sick woman. I'm entitled.
This is information. May I help you?
I want the telephone number of Henchley Hospital.
Henchley Hospital?
Yes.
Do you have the street address?
No, it's somewhere in the 70s. It's a very small, private and exclusive hospital where I had my appendix out 2 years ago. Henchley, H-E-N-C-A...
One moment, please.
Well, will you please hurry and please, what is the time?
You may find out the time by dialing Meridian 71212.
Oh, for heaven's sake, I've no time to be dialing.
The number of Henchley Hospital is Butterfield 70105.
Butterfield 70105. 7. Oh. 1. Oh. 5.
Henchley Hospital. Good evening.
Nurses Registry.
Who was it you wished to speak to, please?
I want the nurses registry at once. I want a trained nurse. I want to hire immediately for the night.
I see. And what is the nature of the case, madam?
Nerves. I'm very nervous. I need soothing and companionship. You see, my husband is away, and I'm
Have
also...
you been recommended to us by any doctor in particular, madam?
No, but I really don't see why all this catechizing is necessary. I just want a trained nurse. I was a patient in your hospital 2 years ago, and after all, I do expect to pay this person for attending me.
We quite understand that, madam, but these are war times, you know.
I know that.
Registered nurses are very scarce just now, and our superintendent has asked us to send people out only on cases where the physician in charge feels it's absolutely necessary.
Well, it is absolutely necessary. I'm a sick woman. I'm very much upset, very. I'm alone in this house, and I'm an invalid, and tonight I overheard a telephone conversation that upset me dreadfully. In fact, if someone doesn't come at once, I'm afraid I'll go out of my mind.
I see. Well, I'll speak to Miss Phillips as soon as she comes in. And what is your name, madam?
Miss Phillips? And when do you expect her in?
I really couldn't say. She went out to supper at 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock? But it's not 11 o'clock yet. Oh, my clock has stopped. I thought it was running down. What time is it?
Just 15 minutes past 11.
What was that?
What was what, madam?
That click just now in my own telephone. As though someone had lifted the receiver off the hook of the extension telephone downstairs.
Well, I didn't hear it, madam. Now, about this...
But I did. There's someone in this house. Someone downstairs in the kitchen. And they're listening to me now. They're listening! I won't pick it up. I won't let them hear me. I won't let them hear me. I'll be quiet. I'll be so quiet. And they'll think... Oh, but if I don't call someone now, while they're still down there, maybe there'll be no time. Oh, I've got to... Operator, I'm in desperate trouble.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear you. Please speak louder.
I don't dare. There's someone listening. Can you hear me now?
I'm sorry.
Oh, but you've got to hear me. Oh, please, you've got to help me. There's someone in this house. Someone who's going to murder me. And you've got to get in touch with... Oh, there it is. There it is. Did you hear it? He's put it down. He's put down the extension phone. He's coming up. Oh, he's coming upstairs. Okay, give me the police department. The police department. Oh, give me the police department.
One moment, please. I will connect you.
I can hear him. Oh, I can hear him. He's coming nearer. Oh, I know it. Hurry! Hurry! Hurry, please!
Oh, police department. Oh, I'm sorry. Must have got the wrong number.
Precinct 43, Sergeant Martin speaking. Police Department, Martin speaking. Police Department, Martin speaking.
Oh, police department?
Police Department.
I'm sorry. Must have got the wrong number. Don't worry. Everything's okay.
And so closes Sorry, Wrong Number, starring Agnes Moorehead, tonight's tale of suspense. This is your narrator, the Man in Black, who conveys to you Columbia's invitation to spend this half hour in suspense with us again next Tuesday, when Mr. Donald Crisp and Mr. John Loder will star in the suspense play called The Extra Guest. The producer of these broadcasts is William Spear, who with Ted Bliss, the director, Lud Gluskin, the musical director, and Lucille Fletcher, the author, collaborated on tonight's Suspense.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Our next broadcast brings together everything that was good about old-time radio rolled into one. The title itself almost sums up the very essence of what radio drama is all about. Each of the episodes was a microdrama, carefully planned to capture the listener's attention. Over 200 episodes were made, and almost all of them are as good today as they were over half a century ago. For the first few years the series was on air, the announcement at the start of the show varied almost every week, but by the 1950s, it had settled down to be the now famous "Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape on HOJO Radio."
Started your Christmas shopping yet? Worried about where the money's coming from? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape. You are seated around a green felt table with a dozen desperate men, waiting for the turn of a card. If it's the ace of spades, you will be next, and you desperately desire the impossible. Escape.
Escape, produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and carefully plotted to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Tonight we escape to London of the last century. A London of gas lights and hansom cabs. A London where a gentleman still valued his word of honor above his life. A London of which one terrifying incident is recorded by Robert Louis Stevenson in his unforgettable story, The Young Man with the Cream Tart.
City seems to offer little amusement tonight. Well, bottoms up. Let's be on our way. Righto. Your health. And yours.
Please have a clean card. Absolutely my compliments. Madam, will you honor me?
Well, now, what's this?
A young man with a tray of cream tarts. He's giving them away.
Or perhaps one of the terms on the bill.
Perhaps. Shall we go?
Yes, please.
I pray you accept this confection, for if you do not, I'm bound to eat it myself. You must be crazy. With never more steam. You refuse? I do. And there's nothing for it but my 27th tart since 5 o'clock. Now there are but 2 left. You, sir.
Yes?
Will you so far honor an entire stranger? It's really excellent pastry. I should know I've eaten enough of them.
It is not the nature of a gift that is important, but the spirit in which it is offered.
The spirit, sir, is one of mockery.
Mockery? And whom do you mock?
Myself. However, my purpose at the moment is not confession, but rather distribution of these cream tarts. Won't you and your friend dispose of the lot of them?
Yes. Yes, on one condition. If my friend and I eat your last 2 cakes, we shall expect you to join us at supper.
Supper? It's a horrible thought. I've already eaten 2 dozen of these pastries.
Very well, then we shall omit supper and become better acquainted over a bottle of wine.
I'm uncertain whether my repugnance for these 2 remaining tarts or the attraction of your invitation compels me, but I accept.
Excellent. Then let us finish off your pastry and seek a more quiet place.
How about Michelle's in Soho?
Splendid. Shall we go?
An excellent restaurant, excellent wine, and 2 excellent friends. I drink to your health.
And we drink to yours. I'm sure you will understand my curiosity.
But you are curious.
Naturally. Although I suspect that your story is probably a silly one.
Oh, indeed.
You may rest assured that we are 2 of the silliest men in England. My name is Goodall, Theophilus Goodall, and my friend here is Major Alfred Hammersmith.
I like you, Mr. Goodall. And you, Major Hammersmith, though I suspect those are not your right names.
It is of no importance.
Exactly, nor is my name, so I will not divulge it. Although I see no reason why I should deny you my story. It's brief and foolish.
Pray tell us, then.
It's an oft-told tale. A modest fortune which I squandered in the usual ways at cards, at the horse races, and Paris. Then 2 months ago, I met a young lady exactly suited to my taste in mind and body. My heart melted. I was in love too late. Yesterday, my solicitor warned me that I had but £100 left in the world. 40 of these I used last night for a special purpose, and I have agreeably spent the day disposing of the remaining £60 in as foolish a manner as I could devise.
And the future?
The future has been taken care of by the £40.
Is it not odd that we 3 should have met by the merest accident in so large a wilderness as London and be so nearly in the same condition? Yes. Major Hammersmith, I was thinking the very same thing.
What's this? Are you 2 also ruined? Is this bottle of excellent wine the last folly, like my cream tart?
Very nearly so. I'm perhaps a week behind you. I still have a few banknotes in my wallet, however. Here now, this bill will take care of the bottle of wine, and the others I throw into the fire.
Oh, no. You shouldn't have burned all of them. You should have kept £40.
£40? Why? Why not 50 or 70? For to my certain knowledge, there were more than 100 in his wallet.
It's only just £40 he needed. But without them, there is no admission. The rule is strict.
What do you mean? I have not yet completely emptied my pocketbook.
You are not fooling me. You are indeed ruined men, like me.
Oh, indeed.
Could you muster £80 between you?
Well, let me look in my wallet. Yes, 80 and a little over.
Then you're indeed most fortunate. £40 each is the initiation fee of the Suicide Club.
The Suicide Club? What the devil is that?
The Suicide Club is death's private door. It's the ultimate convenience in our modern world. It exists for unfortunates like us. Those to whom the painful agony of corrosive poison is distasteful. For those whose courage fails them when the cold muzzle chills the forehead. For those whose fear of drowning is greater than their compulsion to die. For these sensitive misfits, the Suicide Club arranges every detail. If you're truly tired of life, I will introduce you tonight to a meeting, and I can assure you that within the week you will be relieved of the burden of living. What do you say? It's more serious than a cream toss, and I suspect more palatable.
More serious, certainly. So I wonder if you would give Mr. Goodall and me 5 minutes alone to discuss it.
Certainly. I shall wait outside.
Your Highness, this adventure must stop here. Nonsense, Colonel Geraldine. I propose to see this through. See it through to what? Death? You forget your obligations, not only to yourself, but to your country. Prince Florizel of Bohemia cannot risk... Tonight I am plain Mr. Goodall, and so I propose to remain. And please remember, Colonel Geraldine, under no circumstances are you to betray my incognito.
But, Your Highness...
We have survived graver adventures than this one promises to be. And now, Colonel Geraldine, let us pay our bill and accompany our young wastrel to death's private door.
Here you are, Governor. Box court. Gentlemen, we have arrived.
Here you are, Caddy. Keep the change.
Oh, thank you, sir. Come on. Well, Mr. Goodall, Major Hammersmith, there is still time to change your mind.
Lead on, sir. My mind's made up.
And mine. Follow me, then.
As dark as a tomb. An apt and concise simile.
Here we are, gentlemen, at death's private door. Shall we enter?
Pray, let's.
You may hang your things in here. If you'll be good enough to wait, I shall call the president.
Of all our follies, this is the wildest and most dangerous. I'm beginning to believe you're right.
Let me beseech your Highness.
Do not forget you are my aide-de-camp.
Not your father.
Yet I am responsible to the king for your well-being. Colonel Geraldine, you're not afraid.
Certainly not for myself, but for your Highness.
Shh, quiet.
The president will see you in his office. I have vouched for you, but you must give him honest answers. The indiscretion of a single member might lead to the dispersion of the society forever. He can't afford to take that risk. Follow me. In here. He's waiting for you.
Good evening. I am told that you wish to speak to me.
We have a desire, sir, to join the Suicide Club.
Sir, you've made a mistake. This is a private house. You must leave it instantly. We have come here upon the invitation of a friend of yours. He's already told you of our desires. Believe me, sir, when one has come this far along the path, one is not likely to be turned away and certainly will tolerate little rudeness. Permit me to assure you, either you will oblige us in the matter, or you'll regret ever having admitted us to the premises. Well, now, that's more like it. This is no place for men not yet desperate. I believe you, sir. But what of your friend?
My reasons are even more cogent than Mr. Goodall's. I was cashiered out of my regiment last week.
Why?
Cheating at cards.
I see. And you, sir? What is your reason for being tired of life? Unadulterated laziness. Don't trifle with me, sir. You must have a better reason than that. I have no more money, and I'm much too lazy to come by any. If I did not have a great deal of experience in these matters, I would turn you down. But I have learned that the most frivolous excuses for a suicide often cover a deep and lifelong desire for self-destruction. Thank you for your understanding, sir. Very well. To business. I shall read you the oath of membership to which you will each subscribe. I swear to obey without question the instructions of the president of this association or any of his appointed deputies. Realizing that desirable death could scarcely be a penalty for violating this oath, I am aware that any violation will be met at the discretion of the president by those means deemed suitable by him. Namely, excommunication from the church, loss of whatever honor still attaches to my name, and or, when necessary, violent reprisals against my bereaved family. In full knowledge of the sacredness of this oath, I subscribe my name. Well, gentlemen, you are in a position to enforce those penalties. I am. Hand me the pen. My friend. The pen, please. Major Hammersmith. Thank you. That will be £40 apiece, please. Here you are. Thank you. And now, would you like to join the members in the smoking room? Indeed, we would. This way, please. Just make yourself at home. Everyone's quite informal here. If you'll pardon me, I have some other matters to attend to. Come along, Major. Let's mingle with the company.
Your Highness.
Be quiet.
Oh, there you are. You got in all right, I see.
Naturally.
You'll never regret it.
I'm sure we shan't.
You care for a game of billiards, perhaps some whist?
No, not immediately, thank you. I'd like just to wander around and listen to the conversation.
You'll find it most revealing.
She had always stood in the way of anything I wanted to do. And I don't care if she was my mother. She crossed me one time too often.
You may be sure I would never have joined this wretched club if I had not read The Origin of the Species by Darwin. I could not bear to be descended from an ape.
Certainly,
Too
I
ghastly to
understand.
bear, you know.
There are some men who cannot abide the restrictions of the monastery. And after the abbot discovered me, there was nothing I could do.
It's incomprehensible to me.
What is?
Why, this talk, this boasting, this self-justification. If a man has made up his mind to kill himself, let him do it like a gentleman. Be done with the matter.
As I told you, there are some of us more frightened of the act than of the result.
There's only one man in this room who does not seem to be in a state of hysteria.
Who is that, Mr. Godard?
Why, the gentleman sitting under the divan.
Oh, yes. Yes, Mr. Malthus. Would you like to meet him?
Yes, please. These others are too obvious.
There's nothing very subtle about Mr. Malthus. He looks like death himself, wearing thick eyeglasses.
Let us discover for ourselves the reason for his relaxation.
Mr. Malthus. I should like to present two new members, Mr. Goodall and Major Hammersmith.
How do you do, gentlemen?
How do you do? It's a pleasure, sir.
Won't you sit down? Newcomers. Newcomers. I envy you the novelty of your first visit. You will learn to relish it if you are spared. Why, my dear sir, this club, gentlemen, is the temple of intoxication. If my health would permit it, you may be sure I would be here more often. For this is my last dissipation. Believe me, sir, I have tried them all the vices. Yes. People trifle with love and ignorantly call it man's most powerful passion. Nonsense, sir, nonsense. Fear is the strongest passion. It is fear that you must trifle with if you wish to taste the intense joys of living. Envy me, sir. Envy me. I am a coward.
How, sir, is the excitement so artfully prolonged?
Oh, of course. I must tell you how the victim for every evening is selected, as well as the member who is to be death's high priest for the occasion.
Great heavens. You mean they kill each other?
The guilt of suicide is removed in that way.
Then I, or my friend, or you, any of us, might be selected this evening to murder another man?
Exactly.
But how have they escaped the attentions of the law?
The ingenuity of our president knows no limits. The departures always appear to be accidental.
Why, it's monstrous.
On the contrary, my dear Major, it is godlike.
Oh, yes, of course.
But, Mr. Malthus, I'm still in the dark as to how the members are selected for the evening's work.
Oh, of course, I forgot to explain. But I see that the others are filing into the card room now, and the play is about to begin. You shall see for yourself. Will you lend me the help of your arm? I'm quite paralyzed, you know.
Oh, of course.
Thank you. This is the moment for which I live. The quintessence of poignancy. The ultimate of passion. Coming here as infrequently as I do, I've savored this bitter taste of fear longer than the others. But my turn will come. Who knows? Perhaps tonight.
But how is it done? Tell us what to expect.
Oh, it's so simple. The president deals from an ordinary deck playing cards, and each man turns out his card as he receives it. The ace of spades, the card of death. Ace of clubs designates the official of the night.
The murderer.
If you like. Here, 3 chairs together. Happy young men. You have good eyes and can follow the cards. I only make out the faces.
Is everyone here?
My friend, we still have a fighting chance to escape. Quiet. Let us play the game.
Attention, gentlemen.
3 of clubs. Jack of hearts.
10 of diamonds.
King of clubs.
Queen of hearts.
3 of spades.
9 of clubs.
6 of spades.
It's our young man of the cream tart.
He's drawn the ace of clubs.
I came here to be killed, not to kill. I want to
Gentlemen.
die, not murder.
I must caution the members against such unseemly outbursts.
I don't want
Since the ace of spades has not yet turned up, I will continue the deal.
Ace of hearts. 7 of clubs.
King of diamonds.
Jack of spades.
8.
Oh, 8.
Mr. Malthus. That concludes the play for the night, gentlemen. Will the member who drew the ace of clubs come to my office for his instructions?
Did your Highness ring?
Yes. Good morning, Roderick.
Good morning, sir.
Oh, I shall have my breakfast in bed this morning.
Yes, Your Highness. And Colonel Geraldine has been waiting for you to awaken.
Oh, very well. Show him in.
Thank you, Your Highness, sir. Colonel, His Highness will see you now.
Good morning, Geraldine. Sleep well?
Not too well.
Did I dream it, or were we initiated into the suicide club last night? Seems like a nightmare.
It was a nightmare, but you didn't dream it. Here, look at this. The morning paper.
Huh? Melancholy accident. This morning, about 2 o'clock, Mr. Bartholomew Malthus of 16 Chepstow Place, Westbourne Grove, on his way home from a party at a friend's house, fell off the upper parapet in Trafalgar Square, fracturing his skull. Death was instantaneous. Mr. Malthus, accompanied by a friend, was engaged in looking for a cab at the time.
If ever a soul went straight to hell, it was that poor paralytic.
Yes, at least he's dead and out of it. But think of our young man of the cream tarts. Last night that lad was as innocent as you and I. This morning he is a murderer.
Thank heavens we're safely out of it.
Are we?
Oh, no. You're not going to return.
I must.
You are infected with a passion of fear just as poor Malthus was.
Perhaps. Whatever it is. Tonight, once more, we take our places at the table of the Suicide Club. Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Goodall. Back again to try your luck? Yes, indeed. And Major Hammersmith? Good evening. You are to be congratulated, sir, on the matter of Mr. Malthus. Very neatly handled. Thank you. But I shall miss poor old Malthus. He was a man I could talk to.
Yes, your bereavement must weigh heavily upon you.
Indeed it does, sir. But then it's all in the game. And now, you will pardon me, we will sit down to play directly.
The fiend. The foul fiend of hell. Steady, my friend. Once more, let me plead with you. Leave this evil house before it's too late.
You're very tiresome tonight. Oh, here's our young friend of the cream tarts. Good evening, old chap.
Oh, Mr. Goodall, Mr. Hammersmith. Oh, how I wish I'd never brought you to this infamous place. Oh, leave. Leave while your hands are still clean.
But our oath. We could not go back upon our oath.
Well, renounce it. Forget everything. Let them do their worst, but leave. Leave before it's too late. Hey, If you could have heard the old man scream as I pushed him from the parapet. The crunch of his brittle bones as he fluttered to the base.
Yes, I perceive the dealing is about to begin. Shall we go in?
Yes. Mr. Goodell, if you have any kindness in your soul, wish the ace of spades from me tonight. There's nothing left for me but to die.
Attention, gentlemen. 3 of hearts.
Queen of spades.
Ace of diamonds.
Times around and neither black aces come up. We are just 13. They set the table. This 4th round. This will tell the tale.
And I am next to last.
Ace of clubs.
Only 4 more cards. King of spades. Oh, pray for me, Mr. Goodall. Pray for me. I have 1 chance in 3. Pray that I get the ace. 6 of diamonds.
And now, I have 1 chance in 2.
My friend, don't.
Silence. Ace of spades. Very well. That concludes tonight's play, gentlemen.
Oh, Mr. Goodall, I'd give $1 million if I had it for your luck.
I would sell you this card for much less if I could. Well, Mr. Goodall, my congratulations. I am pleased to have met you, sir, and to have been in the position to do you this trifling service. At least you can't complain of delay. Yes. And now, before I leave forever, I should like to ask a question. A purely hypothetical question, of course, since I am not a man to go back upon my word. But you wonder what would happen if you did. If upon the turning of the card you had changed your mind and now wish to live? Precisely. Suppose my friend Major Hammersmith and I elected to ignore our oath. Suppose we began by tearing this place apart. You wouldn't even get started. The guests themselves are desperate men, but if they did not stop you, the servants, who are even more desperate, would. You would never leave this house alive. I see. Well, it was purely an academic question. Naturally. Very well, then. What are my instructions? You will proceed along the Strand in the direction of the city, on the left-hand pavement, until you come upon a black carriage with drawn curtains. In this carriage will be the member who has tonight drawn the ace of clubs, my executioner, your collaborator in suicide. You will enter the carriage, and he will continue your instructions. Please have the kindness to obey him in every detail. The authority of the club is vested in his person for the night. I wish you a pleasant walk. Thank you. But first I must say farewell to my friend, Major Hammersmith. I regret that is strictly against the rules. No farewells. Too disturbing for the still living members. You will leave through this side door to the workroom. But I must have... We won't have any trouble now, will we, Mr. Goodall? No. No, of course not. Your coat? And hat? Your stick? Thank you. Again, Mr. Goodall. A most pleasant walk. Death's private door. Why didn't I listen to Geraldine before it was too late? What is it? My instructions are to meet the coach in the Strand.
You'll take this coach right now. Get in with you. All right. Take us on the way.
Highness will pardon the violation of his person.
Geraldine. Oh, my friend.
It was quite necessary under the circumstances. As soon as you turned up the ace of spades, I slipped out of the house to prepare for your escape.
But how did you manage it?
When I realized I could not dissuade you from attending the club tonight, I retained the services of a certain capable and reliable private detective.
But
his secrecy has been bought and paid for. His men are now raiding the suicide club. The members will be removed to your townhouse, where it remains for you to pass judgment upon them.
That I will gladly do, and with the utmost dispatch.
What have they brought us here for? They didn't look like Scotland Yard men to me.
What difference does it make? Perhaps this will be a quicker way out. Gentlemen.
Why, that's my friend, Major Hammersmith.
His Royal Highness, Prince Florizel of Bohemia.
Why, that's Mr. Godin. Always thought there was something odd about those two.
Gentlemen, tonight we have removed you from a house of death to a house of life and hope. Those of you who have come to your present condition through lack of fortune will receive employment and remuneration from my treasury. Those who have been driven to this unnatural solution of their problem by the agonies of guilt must find amnesty from a power greater than mine. Power that eternally promises the forgiveness of sins, no matter how grievous. Only one of you is truly evil, and him I shall deal with myself. Where is he? Where is the president of the club? Colonel Geraldine.
Why, he should be here, Your Highness.
Begging Your Highness pardon. Who's this man, Geraldine?
The chief of the detectives.
Yes? What is it?
Was you referring to the sallow chap with the sword whiskers and the black suit?
Yes, that's the one. The president of the Suicide Club. Where is he?
The idea is.
Why not?
Well, when we broke into the little office down there at the club, we found him sprawled over the desk with a little empty bottle in his hand. He'd committed suicide.
Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and tonight brought you The Young Man with the Cream Tart by Robert Louis Stevenson, adapted for radio by Mr. Robeson, with Paul Frees as Prince Florizel, Bill Johnstone as Colonel Geraldine, and Barton Yarborough as the young man. The special musical score was conceived and conducted by Cy Feuer. Next week,
after you've put in a tough day at the office, leaning over a hot stove, when your four walls seem to be closing in on you, next week when you want to get away from it all, we offer you Escape.
Keep it tuned right here to HOJO Radio for more classic old-time radio.
Started your Christmas shopping yet? Worried about where the money's coming from? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape. You were seated around a green felt table with a dozen desperate men, waiting for the turn of a card. If it's the ace of spades, you will be next. And you desperately desire the impossible. Escape.
Escape, produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and carefully plotted to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
Tonight we escape to London of the last century. A London of gas lights and hansom cabs. A London where a gentleman still valued his word of honor above his life. A London of which one terrifying incident is recorded by Robert Louis Stevenson in his unforgettable story, The Young Man with a Cream Tart.
city seems to offer little amusement tonight. Well, bottoms up. Let's be on our way. Righto. Your health. And yours.
Please have a cream tart. Absolutely free. My compliments. Caddy, will you honor me? Will you honor me?
Well, now, what's this? A young man with a tray of cream tarts. He's giving them away. Or perhaps one of the terms on the bill. Perhaps. Shall we go? Yes, let's.
I pray you accept this infection, for if you do not, I'm bound to eat it myself. You must be crazy. I was never more sane. You refuse? I do. And there's nothing for it but my 27th tart since 5 o'clock. Now there are but 2 left. You, sir.
Yes?
Will you so far honor an entire stranger? It's really excellent pastry. I should know I've eaten enough of them.
It is not the nature of a gift that is important, but the spirit in which it is offered.
The spirit, sir, is one of mockery.
Mockery? And whom do you mock?
Myself. However, my purpose at the moment is not confession, but rather distribution of these cream tarts. Won't you and your friend dispose of the last of them?
Yes. Yes, on one condition. If my friend and I eat your last 2 cakes, we shall expect you to join us at supper.
Supper? It's a horrible thought. I've already eaten 2 dozen of these pastries.
Very well, then we shall omit supper and become better acquainted over a bottle of wine.
I'm uncertain whether my repugnance for these 2 remaining tarts or the attraction of your invitation compels me, but I accept.
Excellent. Then let us finish off your pastry and seek a more quiet place. How about Michelle's in Soho? Splendid. Shall we go?
An excellent restaurant, excellent wine, and 2 excellent friends. I drink to your health.
And we drink to yours. I'm sure you will understand my curiosity.
But you are curious.
Naturally. Although I suspect that your story is probably a silly one.
Oh, indeed.
You may rest assured that we are 2 of the silliest men in England. My name is Goodall, Theophilus Goodall, and my friend here is Major Alfred Hammersmith.
I like you, Mr. Goodall. And you, Major Hammersmith, though I suspect those are not your right names.
It is of no importance.
Exactly, nor is my name, so I will not divulge it. Although I see no reason why I should deny you my story. It's brief and foolish.
Pray tell us then.
It's an oft-told tale. A modest fortune which I squandered in the usual ways at cards, the horse races in Paris. Then 2 months ago I met a young lady exactly suited to my taste in mind and body. My heart melted. I was in love too late. Yesterday my solicitor warned me that I had but £100 left in the world. 40 of these I used last night for a special purpose, and I have agreeably spent the day disposing of the remaining £60 in as foolish a manner as I could devise.
And the future?
The future has been taken care of by the £40.
Is it not odd that we 3 should have met by the merest accident in so large a wilderness as London and be so nearly in the same condition?
Yes. Major Hammersmith, I was thinking the very same thing.
What? Are you 2 also ruined? Is this bottle of excellent wine the last folly, like my cream tarts?
Very nearly so. I'm perhaps a week behind you. I still have a few banknotes in my wallet, however. Here now, this bill will take care of the bottle of wine, and the others I throw into the fire.
Oh, no. You shouldn't have burned all of them. You should have kept £40.
£40? Why?
Why not 50 or 70? For to my certain knowledge, there were more than 100 in his wallet.
It's only just £40 he needed. But without them, there is no admission. The rule is strict.
What do you mean? I have not yet completely emptied my pocketbook.
You are not fooling me. You are indeed ruined men, like me.
Oh, indeed.
Could you muster £80 between you?
Well, let me look in my wallet. Yes, 80 and a little over.
Then you're indeed most fortunate. £40 each is the initiation fee of the Suicide Club.
The Suicide Club? What the devil is that?
The Suicide Club is death's private door. It's the ultimate convenience in our modern world. It exists for unfortunates like us. Those to whom the painful agony of corrosive poison is distasteful. For those whose courage fails them when the cold muzzle chills the forehead. For those whose fear of drowning is greater than their compulsion to die. For these sensitive misfits, the Suicide Club ranges every detail. If you're truly tired of life, I will introduce you tonight to a meeting, and I can assure you that within the week you will be relieved of the burden of living. What do you say? It's more serious than a cream tart, and I suspect more palatable.
More serious, certainly. So I wonder if you would give Mr. Goodall and me 5 minutes alone to discuss it.
Certainly. I shall wait outside.
Your Highness, this adventure must stop here.
Nonsense, Colonel Geraldine. I propose to see this through.
See it through to what? Death? You forget your obligations, not only to yourself, but to your country. Prince Florizel of Bohemia cannot risk...
Tonight I am playing Mr. Godard, and so I propose to remain. And please remember, Colonel Geraldine, under no circumstances are you to betray my incognito.
But, Your Highness...
We have survived graver adventures than this one promises to be. And now, Colonel Geraldine, let us pay our bill and accompany our young wastrel to death's private door.
Here you are, Governor. Box court.
Gentlemen, we have arrived.
Here you are, cabby. Keep the change.
Oh, thank you, sir. Come on.
Well, Mr. Godard, Major Hammersmith, there is still time to change your mind.
Lead on, sir. My mind's made up.
And mine.
Follow me, then.
As dark as a tomb.
An apt and concise simile.
Here we are, gentlemen, at death's private door. Shall we enter?
Pray, let's.
You may hang your things in here. If you'll be good enough to wait, I shall call the president.
Of all our follies, this is the wildest and most dangerous.
I'm beginning to believe you're right.
Let me beseech your Highness...
Do not forget you are my aide-de-camp.
Not your father. Yet I am responsible to the king for your well-being.
Colonel Geraldine, you're not afraid.
Certainly not for myself, but for your Highness.
Shh, quiet.
The president will see you in his office. I have vouched for you, but you must give him honest answers. The indiscretion of a single member might lead to the dispersion of the society forever. You can't afford to take that risk. Follow me. In here. He's waiting for you.
Good evening. I am told that you wish to speak to me.
We have a desire, sir, to join the Suicide Club.
Sir, you've made a mistake. This is a private house. You must leave it instantly.
We have come here upon the invitation of a friend of yours. He's already told you of our desires. Believe me, sir, when one has come this far along the path, one is not likely to be turned away and certainly will tolerate little rudeness. Permit me to assure you, either you will oblige us in the matter, or you'll regret ever having admitted us to the premises.
Well, now, that's more like it. This is no place for men not yet desperate. I believe you, sir. But what of your friend?
My reasons are even more cogent than Mr. Godal's. I was cashiered out of my regiment last week.
Why?
Cheating at cards.
I see. And you, sir? What is your reason for being tired of life?
Unadulterated laziness.
Don't trifle with me, sir. You must have a better reason than that.
I have no more money, and I'm much too lazy to come by any.
If I did not have a great deal of experience in these matters, I would turn you down. But I have learned that the most frivolous excuses for a suicide often cover a deep and lifelong desire for self-destruction.
Thank you for your understanding, sir.
Very well. To business. I shall read you the oath of membership to which you will each subscribe. I swear to obey without question the instructions of the president of this association or any of his appointed deputies. Realizing that desirable death could scarcely be a penalty for violating this oath, I am aware that any violation will be met at the discretion of the president by those means deemed suitable by him. Namely, excommunication from the church, loss of whatever honor still attaches to my name, and or, when necessary, violent reprisals against my bereaved family. In full knowledge of the sacredness of this oath, I subscribe my name. Well, gentlemen?
You are in a position to enforce those penalties.
I am.
Hand me the pen.
My friend.
The pen, please. Major Hammersmith. Thank you. That will be 40 pounds apiece, please. Here you are. Thank you. And now, would you like to join the members in the smoking room? Indeed, we would. This way, please. Just make yourself at home. Everyone's quite informal here. If you'll pardon me, I have some other matters to attend. Come along, Major. Let's mingle with the company.
Your Highness.
Be quiet.
Oh, there you are. You got in all right, I see.
Naturally.
You'll never regret it.
I'm sure we shan't.
Do you care for a game of billiards, perhaps some whist?
No, not immediately, thank you. I'd like just to wander around and listen to the conversation.
You'll find it most revealing.
She had always stood in the way of anything I wanted to do. And I don't care if she was my mother. She crossed me one time too often.
You may be sure that I would never have joined this wretched club if I had not read The Origin of the Species by Darwin. I could not bear to be descended from an ape.
Certainly,
You
I
gasped
understand.
there, you
There
know.
are some men who cannot abide the restrictions of the monastery. And after the abbot discovered me, there was nothing I could do. It's incomprehensible to me.
What is?
Why, this talk, this boasting, this self-justification. If a man has made up his mind to kill himself, let him do it like a gentleman. Be done with the matter.
As I told you, there are some of us more frightened of the act than of the result.
There's only one man in this room who does not seem to be in a state of hysteria. Who is that, Mr. Godard? Why, the gentleman sitting on the divan.
Oh, yes. Yes, Mr. Malthus. Would you like to meet him?
Yes, please. These others are too obvious.
There's nothing very subtle about Mr. Malthus. He looks like death himself, wearing thick eyeglasses.
Let us discover for ourselves the reason for his relaxation.
Mr. Malthus. I should like to present two new members, Mr. Godal and Major Hammersmith.
How do you do, gentlemen?
How do you do, Mr. Pleasure?
Won't you sit down?
Thank
Newcomers. Newcomers. I envy you the novelty of your first visit. You will learn to relish it if you are spared. Why, my dear sir, this club, gentlemen, is the temple of intoxication. If my health would permit it, you may be sure I would be here more often. For this is my last dissipation. Believe me, sir, I have tried them all the vices. Yes. People trifle with love and ignorantly call it man's most powerful passion. Nonsense, sir, nonsense. Fear is the strongest passion. It is fear that you must trifle with if you wish to taste the intense joys of living. Envy me, sir. Envy me. I am a coward.
How, sir, is the excitement so artfully prolonged?
Oh, of course. I must tell you how the victim for every evening is selected, as well as the member who is to be death's high priest for the occasion.
Great heavens. You mean they kill each other?
The guilt of suicide is removed in that way.
Then I, or my friend, or you, any of us, might be selected this evening to murder another man?
Exactly.
But how'd they escape the attentions of the law?
The ingenuity of our president knows no limits. The departures always appear to be accidental.
Why, it's monstrous. On the contrary, my dear Major, it is godlike.
Oh, yes, of course.
But, Mr. Malthus, I'm still in the dark as to how the members are selected for the evening's work.
Oh, of course, I forgot to explain. But I see that the others are filing into the card room now, and the play is about to begin. You shall see for yourself. Will you lend me the help of your arm? I'm quite paralyzed, you know.
Oh, of course.
Thank you. This is the moment for which I live. The quintessence of poignancy. The ultimate of passion. Coming here as infrequently as I do, I've savored this bitter taste of fear longer than the others. But my turn will come. Who knows? Perhaps tonight.
But how is it done? Tell us what to expect.
Oh, it's so simple. The president deals through an ordinary deck playing cards, and each man turns up his card as he receives it. The ace of spades, the card of death. The ace of clubs designates the official of the night.
The murderer.
If you like. Here, 3 chairs together. Happy, young men. You have good eyes and can follow the cards. I only make out the faces.
Is everyone here?
My friend, we still have a fighting chance to escape.
Quiet. Let us play the game. Attention, gentlemen.
3 of clubs. Jack of hearts.
10 of diamonds.
King of clubs. Queen of hearts. 3 of spades.
9 of clubs.
6 of spades. Oh, no! It's our young man of the cream tart.
He's drawn the ace of clubs.
I came here to be killed, not to kill. I want to
Gentlemen.
die, not murdered.
I must caution the members against such unseemly outbursts.
I don't want
Since the ace of spades has not yet turned up, I will continue the deal.
Ace of hearts.
7 of clubs.
King of diamonds.
Jack of spades.
Ace of spades.
Mr. Malthus.
That concludes the play for the night, gentlemen. Will the member who drew the ace of clubs come to my office for his instructions?
Did your Highness read?
Yes. Good morning, Roderick.
Good morning, sir.
Oh, I shall have my breakfast in bed this morning.
Yes, your Highness. And Colonel Geraldine has been waiting for you to awaken.
Oh, very well. Show him in.
Thank you, your Highness. Colonel, His Highness will see you now.
Good morning, Geraldine. Sleep well?
Not too well.
Did I dream it, or were we initiated into the suicide club last night? Seems like a nightmare.
It was a nightmare, but you didn't dream it. Here, look at this, the morning paper.
Huh? Melancholy accident. This morning, about 2 o'clock, Mr. Bartholomew Malthus of 16 Chepstow Place, Westbourne Grove, on his way home from a party at a friend's house, fell off the upper parapet in Trafalgar Square, fracturing his skull. Death was instantaneous. Mr. Malthus, accompanied by a friend, was engaged in looking for a cab at the time of
If ever a soul went straight to hell, it was that poor paralytic.
Yes, at least he's dead and out of it. But think of our young man of the cream tarts. Last night that lad was as innocent as you and I. This morning he is a murderer.
Thank heavens we're safely out of it.
Are we?
Oh, no. You're not going to return.
I must.
You are infected with a passion of fear just as poor Malthus was.
Perhaps. Whatever it is. Tonight, once more, we take our places at the table of the Suicide Club.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Goodall. Back again to try your luck?
Yes, indeed.
And Major Hammersmith?
Good evening. You are to be congratulated, sir, on the matter of Mr. Malthus. Very neatly handled.
Thank you. But I shall miss poor old Malty. He was a man I could talk to.
Yes, your bereavement must weigh heavily upon you.
Indeed it does, sir. But then it's all in the game. And now, you will pardon me, we will sit down to play directly.
The fiend. The foul fiend of hell. Daddy, my friend, once more, let me plead with you. Leave this evil house before it's too late.
You're very tiresome tonight. Oh, here's our young friend of the cream tarts. Good evening, old chap.
Oh, Mr. Goodall, Mr. Hammersmith. Oh, how I wish I'd never brought you to this infamous place. Oh, leave. Leave while your hands are still clean.
But our oath. We could not go back upon our oath.
Well, renounce it. Forget everything. Let them do their worst, but leave. Leave before it's too late. Hey, if you could have heard the old man scream as I pushed him from the parapet. The crunch of his brittle bones as he fluttered to the face.
Yes, I perceive the dealing is about to begin. Shall we go in?
Yes. Mr. Goodall, if you have any kindness in your soul, wish the ace of spades from me tonight. There's nothing left for me but to die.
Attention, gentlemen.
Three of hearts.
Queen of spades.
Ace of diamonds.
Times around and neither black ace has come up. We are just 13. This at the table. This fourth round. This will tell the tale.
And I am next to last.
Ace of clubs.
Only 4 more cards. King of spades. Oh, pray for me, Mr. Godal. Pray for me. I have 1 chance in 3. Pray that I get the ace. 6 of diamonds.
And now, I have 1 chance in 2.
My friend, don't.
Silence. Ace of spades. Very well. That concludes tonight's play, gentlemen.
Oh, Mr. Godal. I'd give $1 million if I had it for your luck.
I would sell you this card for much less if I could. Well, Mr. Goodall, my congratulations. I am pleased to have met you, sir, and to have been in a position to do you this trifling service. At least you can't complain of delay. Yes. So now, before I leave forever, I should like to ask a question. A purely hypothetical question, of course, since I am not a man to go back upon my word. But you wonder what would happen if you did. If upon the turning of the card you had changed your mind and now wish to live? Precisely. Suppose my friend Major Hammersmith and I elected to ignore our oath. Suppose we began by tearing this place apart. You wouldn't even get started. The guests themselves are desperate men, but if they did not stop you, the servants, who are even more desperate, would. You would never leave this house alive. I see. Well, it was purely an academic question. Naturally. Very well, then. What are my instructions? You will proceed along the Strand in the direction of the city, on the left-hand pavement, until you come upon a black carriage with drawn curtains. In this carriage will be the member who has tonight drawn the ace of clubs. My executioner. Your collaborator in suicide. You will enter the carriage, and he will continue your instructions. Please have the kindness to obey him in every detail. The authority of the club is vested in his person for the night. I wish you a pleasant walk. Thank you. But first I must say farewell to my friend Major Hammersmith. I regret that is strictly against the rules. No farewells. Too disturbing for the still living members. You will leave through this side door to the workroom. But I must have... We won't have any trouble now, will we, Mr. Cole? No. No, of course not. Your coat? And hat? Your stick? Thank you. Again, Mr. Godall. A most pleasant walk. Death's private door. Why didn't I listen to Geraldine before it was too late?
All right.
What is it? My instructions are to meet the coach in the Strand.
You'll take this coach right now. Get in with you. All right. Take this one away.
Your Highness will pardon the violation of his person.
Geraldine. Oh, my friend.
It was quite necessary under the circumstances. As soon as you turned up the ace of spades, I slipped out of the house to prepare for your escape.
But how did you manage it?
When I realized I could not dissuade you from attending the club tonight, I retained the services of a certain capable and reliable private detective.
But
his secrecy has been bought and paid for. His men are now raiding the suicide club. The members will be removed to your townhouse, where it remains for you to pass judgment upon them.
That I will gladly do.
and with the utmost dispatch.
What have they brought us here for?
They didn't look like Scotland Yard men to me.
What difference does it make? Perhaps this will be a quicker way out.
Gentlemen.
Why, that's my friend, Major Hammersmith.
His Royal Highness, Prince Florizel of Bohemia.
Why, that's Mr. Godot. Always thought there was something odd about this, too.
Gentlemen, tonight we have removed you from a house of death to a house of life and hope. Those of you who have come to your present condition through lack of fortune will receive employment and remuneration from my treasury. Those who have been driven to this unnatural solution of their problem by the agonies of guilt must find amnesty from a power greater than mine. Power that eternally promises the forgiveness of sins, no matter how grievous. Only one of you is truly evil, and him I shall deal with myself. Where is he? Where is the president of the club?
Colonel Geraldine.
Why, he should be here, Your Highness.
Begging Your Highness pardon. Who's this man, Geraldine?
The chief of the detectives.
Yes? What is it?
Was you referring to the sallow chap with the sword whiskers and the black suit?
Yes, that's the one. The president of the Suicide Club. Where is he?
He aren't here.
Why not?
Well, when we broke into the little office down there at the club, we found him sprawled over the desk with a little empty bottle in his hand. He'd committed suicide.
Escape is produced and directed by William N. Robeson, and tonight brought you The Young Man with the Cream Tart by Robert Louis Stevenson, adapted for radio by Mr. Robeson, with Paul Frees as Prince Florizel, Bill Johnstone as Colonel Geraldine, and Barton Yarborough as the young man. The special musical score was conceived and conducted by Cy Feuer. Next week,
after you've put in a tough day at the office, leaning over a hot stove, when your four walls seem to be closing in on you, next week when you want to get away from it all, we offer you escape.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Thanks for listening to HOJO Radio. We'll be back again very soon.